It's time for some basketball action. Once again, the Auburn Tigers at the PMAC. Before we get started, we did get a super chat here early from one of our pillars of the community, Feel Like a Stranger, with whom I have been communicating here. It says, word up, Lego, much love, Drainer, Swigans, and Tates. Time for a beat down on the bayou. He'd like to see Chad Bacon, Lasagna, CBL, Broom, Tahad, and Miles lighted up tonight. The game is now live, so we shall bounce. Feel Like a Stranger. I appreciate you, G, and we move forward. LSU's basic scouting report is not great shooters, but terrific athletes, and they can play it. Oh, boy, they get a little second chance opportunity there to open the game. Defensively, solid. Attacking-wise, not exactly a bunch of bucket getters. But they have a few. Actually, their guards are pretty good. I think I said in the bunker I give them a B or a B plus as a tandem. And we'll see if Auburn, you think of Auburn's defense as being pretty good, really 1 through 5, but in particular going against the guards. So you would expect Cam to have a few. Man, what a rebound from Janai. And a cross-court pass from his knees, or on his booty, I guess, would be more appropriate. God, Auburn's gotten so many offensive rebounds already. This is embarrassing if you're LSU, dude. This is actually embarrassing. Oh, and Dylan's going to turn it over. What's that, 4 offensive rebounds on that one possession? Oh, my goodness. My God. And Auburn couldn't get anything in. Gotta like the hustle, but my God. They've given Auburn, well, I think I'm a little bit, I think the stats are just a little bit ahead, but 6 offensive rebounds. LSU fans are fired up. They're up 4. We'll have to remember this moment. Remember when LSU was up 4? Spicy P says 7 looks, 0 buckets. I've got 6 offensive rebounds for the Auburn Tigers and 1. That's 7 misses, by the way. Auburn just got another offensive rebound. 0 for 7 from the floor. Yeah, Janai got another OR. Guys, this is kind of sloppy here. But you do like this on these first 2 possessions. Auburn is acting like, it belongs like to be kicking this team's ass, which I probably agree with. Oh, wow. Janai went for the pump fake on that long pass and didn't get the foul. I didn't think it was a foul. And they let it go. That was good. Good idea. Good defensive execution, honestly, and then a good call. So I'm good with that. Auburn's got possession again. Turnover. Denver trying to get it to Dylan, and that turns in the other direction. That is something that Auburn just can't afford to do, right, in this game. If they just play like solid, maintain possession, I think they win this game by 15 or 20. But if they make mistakes and let LSU get out in transition, that's the way that you get in trouble against this LSU team, because I don't think they're going to score enough buckets in the quarter court or half court to be a real threat to Auburn. All right, Auburn gets its first bucket. I think that was Miles from the elbow there. And I think that will see what Auburn's shooting is at this point. I've got Auburn as 1 of 10, and they're plus 6 on shots attempted. Looks like they're... Whoa, that was a walk for sure, number 11. What's he doing? What does this mean? Does this mean I walked? Please don't make me run. And you just said a bad word. Spicy P's ready to see Tahad already. Wait, we got to get my sound bites ready to go over here. Got to get that water together. Cleveland Brown would definitely want me to have that water ready. No, I don't even have the sound added. Man, what a weird start for Auburn here. Like, really good in some ways and really bad in others. Not shooting well, but you got to give it to them. The attacking attitude on the boards on the offensive end is amazing. 9 offensive rebounds. That's almost, I mean, if you finish a game with 12 or 13 a game, you feel like you did probably okay. They've got 9 already. 4 turnovers and 0 assists for Auburn. It's an interesting start. I don't think I've ever seen that. Mike Burgermaster going with the head tap. And Spicy P got his wish. He's got Tahad in there already before the first media timeout. Got Cheney in there already switching out for Dylan. And we got another 80%er. I'm going to give him a drop on that one. Drop! After all that, LSU's only up 2. Janai with another. Yeah, Ben's wondering what is going on. What's such a strange opening to the game. Wow. It's literally the last thing I would have expected to have happen to open this game. Have that kind of performance from Auburn. But as I talked about in the little the thread I made in the bunker today about this, you know, it's about burning and conserving, right? Just take it as it comes when you're on the road. Know that these guys are going to fight a little harder than normal. Like we saw against Texas, like we saw against South Carolina. And just sustain. Sustain. Listen to the sustain on this one. You can go out and have a bite to eat, come back. Stoop up with a super chat, my man. What up, bro? He says Auburn never has a normal game ever. Sometimes they do. Like that Missouri game was pretty normal. But you're right. It's generally how it goes. I have got to get these hot, fresh stats up because this is a box score that we might never see again in the rest of our lives. What a weird start for Auburn. Wow. Again, 4-6 going into this first media timeout. But Auburn, wow, amazing rebounding. And I feel like the effort's there, but wow, the execution could be an area of emphasis in the future here. Look at this. 9 offensive rebounds. 9 offensive rebounds by the first media timeout. Somebody could have made $1 million on sports betting with that. They probably wouldn't. The book wouldn't even have taken that bet. Thomas K says, "Well, that was odd." Yeah, that was a start. Yeah. Look at this. Auburn Tigers 0 assists, 4 turnovers. They had the 2 buckets, but both were just kind of individual efforts, which is fine. Just got to get the ball in the bucket. Janai lining up his defender left-handed and just kind of kissed that bad boy in. And then Miles from the elbow there to break the run. I think it was they missed their first 9 maybe, something like that. And LSU has 1 rebound. Auburn's +8. 2 assists on 3 buckets for LSU, 4 turnovers as well. So that bodes well for the Auburn Tigers. But not much you can do when you're shooting like that. Frenetic, 4R Tiger says, yeah, I think that's a fair word. Frenetic. I don't think BP is going to be mad right now. I think he looks at this as just calm down and stay, focused on what we're trying to do here. Obviously, he's going to hold Denver accountable, at least to some degree, for the freneticism of that initial wave. And then Tahad, just knowing that he can be that lightning rod to kind of settle things down, not necessarily because he's going to settle them down, but because he's going to get shit done that's going to, as a byproduct, settle things down. Let's see, Rob B says he was worried, I guess, coming into this game that the shooting woes, because Auburn had some difficulty shooting against Tennessee. But I do want to say, man, let's not understate Tennessee's defensive veracity. They got beat last night by Kentucky. Kentucky was playing pretty well last night, to be fair, but Tennessee's a great defensive team. Cheney misses one, an easy one right at the bucket there. A nice, patient, good machination to get him a one-on-one ISO'd right at the bucket, and he's got to get that in. LSU just hit a 3. It was somebody they were number 11, I think or number 10. They were leaving wide open. And they seemed fine with that, and then he hit it. So 9-4, still Tahad running the show with a high screen from Janai. You'd like to see Chad Baker. Oh, they're trying to set up something for Sorry, that was a drive or shoot for Miles Kelly right there, and he decided to shoot and hit that splash, baby. Hit a little splashky. Chris has a great question. Why do we miss so many layups? I think Auburn was 10 of 20 2 games ago, and then missed some in the Tennessee game as well. Missed dunks in that other game, too, 2 games ago. I don't have a good answer for that. Now, in that particular game, the other team was missing a bunch of easy ones too. So I don't know. Matt McMahon, he's got to be wondering a little bit, how does this thing work? He was the coach at Murray State when John Morant, and even a little bit after that when they were playing so well. And I think they went to the NCAA tournament that year as like more than a darling. I think they were like 30-3 that year. Anyway, he parlayed that into the LSU job, and they've just been okay. Just okay. This year they might be a little bit below okay. Chris H., he's happy to see Miles Kelly splashing from the outside. If indeed they can do that, if he can provide that spark, I think Auburn will be fine. I still think Auburn. This doesn't change anything how I feel about Auburn's the way they're going to win this game. Just got to be patient. We know Auburn can score the basketball. LSU's defense, to me, is just okay. Well, they've been playing pretty well. You would expect the home team to be pretty spirited coming out against number one. That's a terrible pass from Janai. I very rarely say that. Man. So rare that we say terrible, terrible pass from Janai, but that was terrible. I think he assumed it was going to be there, that cut, and it wasn't. LSU defender was playing with his head up, number 5. He's reading that from the outset. So that was nicely scouted there. And we talked in the last game against Tennessee how many times Auburn has deflected or blocked shots from behind without getting a foul. Now, Chad fouled him on that one. Or actually, it wasn't a foul. I take it back. It was a goaltend, but he got the bucket anyway. Wow, what a Stretch Armstrong move from Janai right there. That was amazing. He looks better, definitely, doesn't he? His movement's better. And he showed a little more explosiveness on that particular drive right there where he kind of Stretch Armstrong that bad boy, bending and twisting. This is where LSU's got a major problem. They don't have somebody who can mess with Janai. I don't think they have anybody that can slow him down. And if Chaney can just hit his buckets, man, both of these guys can end up with 15 or more. Melee says we cannot wear Nikes soon enough, my man. Daniel D says, I think we are a little overrated. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think Auburn's pretty damn good. If you've seen the other teams in the country, I mean, I think that Duke is really good as well. Maybe not North Carolina. I'm just kidding. Not so good this year. You know, Houston's really good, but Auburn beat them down there. That Houston-Kansas game, I think, that's 2 really good teams, I think. Wow, that's another nice shot from LSU. Just kind of a fortuitous bounce, and they hit a 3. A team that I don't really think of as somebody that would beat you from 3. I think they've hit, 2 now? 2 out of the last 3 possessions have been 3s for them. Let's see, Auburn ISOing for Chaney. We were kind of talking about that earlier. I think Chaney and Janai are such huge advantages there that I'm not surprised to see Auburn ISOing for them and giving them an entire half court to kind of work and back their guy down. Yabo says, Broom looks like he had a good week of practice. I think it's okay if I can talk about it now, but in practice yesterday, they were just kind of doing like walk. Well, it was better than walkthroughs, but it's something short of a full speed practice, but it's more than walkthroughs. Anyway, Janai, like the big men were doing like a dunking, like a dunking practice. They're not practicing dunking, but it's kind of like the final thing that happens in the drill is a dunk. And Janai was dunking, but very lightly. You could tell he was just kind of being careful and measuring himself while everybody else was doing like spectacular dunks. And I mean, Auburn practices in a fun way. Like there's a lot of energy at your typical Auburn basketball practice. Great dish right there and a finish from Tahad in transition. Really, really nice stuff right there. Was that Chaney? It could have been Miles. I'm not sure with the assist on that. But Auburn has a lot of esprit de corps when it comes to practice. Certainly way more than we've seen, first of all, earlier in Bruce Pearl's tenure. And then the one practice we get a year to go see Lebo and Barbie, it was a lot more than that. And I've seen Kentucky practices too back when, somebody just went downtown. It's Miles again. Chris H. is fired up, man. And it's all even now. All square. Yeah, Knuman's fired up too. Let's see. Anonymous notes that Denver did start. That's absolutely true. I think somebody was probably asking about did Tahad start. Oh, Desperado. What's up, brother? Denver had a very short shift there. I think he got it was definitely before the media timeout at the 16-minute mark. So he got moved out at like, I don't know, the 18-minute mark. And they switched over to Tahad. And also Dylan got switched out for Cheney. Both of those substitutions have stuck so far. We're going to have Simo in there with an offensive rebound. You know, Auburn's always in a weird spot when Simo's playing. It looks like you've got Janai at 4, Janai at 5, Cheney at 4, Simo at 3, and then Miles Kelly's playing shooting guard right now with Tahad playing point. So that's kind of an interesting smart play by Miles Kelly there not to foul. I think he was tempted to do it. But he did not do it. LSU nonetheless gets the bucket in transition. Blake R., our East Coast representative. He's our sergeant at arms for the East Coast. And with a guy that wears a tux like that, you know he's the right man for the job. He says, JGT, sorry I haven't been around for a few shows and games because I have been sick. Oh, man, I hate to hear that. And took a cruise vacation to the Caribbean. But I get to join finally. Ward M. Eagle, love you, man. Just downed a bottle of Buffalo Trace. LOL. Where are you at if you're drinking this early in the day, bro? I guess it's not that early, actually. But I'm glad to hear you feeling better, G. And I hope that Caribbean trip was fun. I'm going to be going to the Caribbean myself a little bit later in the year. Always a good time. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for coming back to us, bro. We missed you. Spicy P says, this is gross. This is not pretty basketball. He's absolutely right about that. We'll get some hot, fresh stats because these stats that we're looking at right now that are from the first media timeout are not very pretty. And I think things have picked up just a little bit since then for the Auburn Tigers. Just a little bit. Itty bitty little bit. So they started out, Blake, I don't know if you were watching earlier. They started out 0 for 9 from the floor with like literally 7 offensive rebounds. It was almost like looked like a Three Stooges sketch, honestly. Looks like they've kind of calmed down now. 6 of 20 from the floor, which obviously ain't great, but better than 0 for 9. That's for damn sure. 2 of 6 from 3, both of them coming from Miles Kelly, and 13 rebounds to 5. Normally, I would be very complimentary of that. However, with the thing as it stands right now, Auburn was spotted a 9-rebound lead, so I don't necessarily read a lot into that. 1 assist and 5 turnovers for Auburn, not great, but they've been playing a little more ISO generally lately, and also I think in this game you're going to see the bigs get a lot of ISO opportunities as well, so it may change things a little bit. 5 assists and 6 turnovers for LSU so far. I am with Yabo, who says Cheney's looking strong. If he had just missed that bucket at the rim, man, I'd be giving him an A right now. As it stands, I'm going to give him a B-. No, I'll give him a flat B. I need to see a little bit more from him. Super chat coming through from Don Properdicken, from our favorite guy from Holland. This is Blake and them are toe up on a cruise. All right. I wish I was. We could do a show from the. Well, we probably wouldn't get a good connection, would we? It would be fun though. To do a show from the cruise, we could have like the bunker or the brain drain cruise with entertainment from Knuman, Blake Robinson, Don Properdicken, and more. It's the Brain Drain Review live from the Chicken of the Sea. T. Lucky, my man. Step away for a bit and come back to Blake dragging his dong through the chat, my man. Blake says, nah, man, I stayed drunk, man. Not a sober moment. That is the right way to. I have never been on a cruise, but that sounds like the right way to cruise. Oh, nice snatch there by Chad Bacon Lasagna. A little Euro with like the most parabolic layup I've ever seen from him, and that's really saying something from him. Looks like he went into the barrier there, protecting the base of the bucket, the basket. MC Tigger says they can't keep the shooting percentage up, and we will start getting buckets off these offensive rebounds. I completely agree. Just keep fighting for these boards, right? And you'll end up getting there. Dale Brown Court. Had an opportunity to interview Dale Brown a number of times back in the 90s when he was the coach at LSU. A very eccentric individual, high energy, very kind of had a biting personality, a cutting personality, but very successful. Well, reasonably successful. At his peak, he was really good. Later in his career, not so good. Glad to have interviewed him, though. Glad to have known him. Nice steal from Chad again. He's going to try to alley-oop this bad boy to Denver, who got it. Nicely done. Auburn they do work on alley-oops more than I think most teams in practice. I think it's a real part of their DNA because they're so transition-y. And I think it makes sense to dedicate time each day to practice to work on these kinds of things. And I feel like these teams don't necessarily read the alley-oops as well as I thought that they would. Like right there, that was a 2-on-1. He didn't really have a chance. He's about 5'10" or whatever that point guard is. He didn't have a shot. But there are other times when they're playing teams that are taller and they still just seem like ill-prepared for an alley-oop. I don't know. So Yabo says, sometimes I feel like bacon lasagna's spirit animal is Katie Johnson. Don says, take a cruise, JG. Also avoid Carnival. Okay, I will keep that in mind. We have talked about it a little bit. Newman says, some vloggers live stream on some ships. I do Zoom calls frequently on them. Starlink, interesting, is a game changer. Starlink, of course, I should say, closely associated with Tesla, even if it's not directly involved. Chad Bacon Lasagna's on the floor again. My wife played field hockey back in the 90s, and one of her teammates, who I believe is the all-time leading scorer in our school's history, her name is Emily. She spent a lot of time on the ground, and we used to talk about it all the time, that she was just on the ground all the time. She'd take a shot and fall down. She'd bounce into somebody and fall down. Other times, nothing would even happen, and she would fall down. And I always thought, this is not going to work out for her. And guess what? She's a leading scorer all time. Sometimes people are just that way. Daniel D says, I'm going on a cruise in March on Norwegian. Norwegian sounds more regal. Maybe that's a better one, you know. Shaver Kia says, take the USS Minnow. It's only going to be a 4-hour tour, guys. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to show up with some supermodels, a geeky dude, a fat guy, and then like this professor guy is going to steal all your chicks. It doesn't sound fun to me. Let's see. Blake says to D Lucky, to know me in person is to know I'm a flexor bordering on conceit. Excellent use of conceit, sir. My confidence is the length of the equator. I was going to say the length of Milton Berle, but equator also will work. It's a little shorter than Milton Berle. All right, so we're still here, 16-16. Auburn having some shooting issues, well, at least early. Kind of getting more flattened out now. Straightened out, I should say. LSU shooting a great percentage, 7 of 11 is according to these stats, but considering a flagrant foul here that sent Chad Bacon Lasagna to the floor, to the pine, as the kids say. I feel like a stranger thinks that the LSU player may have just punched him in the stomach. That would be illegal, I believe. I think that's against the spirit of the rules. I think Dr. Naismith wasn't a huge fan of that. Honestly, the guy kind of curled back and he looks guilty. I don't know, number 5. I love that BP gives Chad like full reign to kind of plead his case to the refs, because he didn't do that in the beginning of last season because he didn't trust him. But I guess he trusts him now, you know, that Chad's going to be, you know, respectful. Wizard D definitely saw that. Saw a punch. And Stoop Up thinks that should have been adjudicated a little differently, just more a tougher punishment. He's thinking flagrant 2 on that. Was it to the gut or was it to the ball sack? Tagged him in the ball sack. That is absolutely true. Ambitious Engineer notes that had Chad done this, had the roles been reversed right there, right? If Chad was the one doing the punching, he would have been thrown out. I completely agree with that. Chad can't get away with shit. But he gets punched around and bumped around a lot. It doesn't help that he's like super thin, though. He's like Kerry Kittles. Oh, my goodness. Turtle with a drive. Did you see that? We need a turtle sound effect. Have to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sound. I'm going to give it a heating up.
He's heating up.
Might as well. I mean, if Turtle's going to hit a bucket, that's like one of his what is he, 5 buckets this year? I mean, statistically speaking, he's heating up. MC Tigger said, quick step to the rim. Absolutely. It was nice. Wizard D says he goes a step further. If Chad had thrown that punch, the cops would have arrested him. He'd already be in the clink in Baton Rouge downtown, right? But knocked his ass out. Oh, man. Soup Up says the turtle gets the ball. It's going up, dog. You got to get some points, man. Blake would like to see that cowabunga sound bite there for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know Blake was old enough to know that one, honestly. I probably misread your age a little bit. It's a great shot from Denver. It was about 3 seconds after a foul was called, but things happen. Let's see. Yeah, Damon's getting that. Ninjas in half shell. Turtle power. Chip feels that run coming on. Oh, could it be another one? Oh, I thought Turtle was going to have an opportunity there, but he really didn't, did he? He didn't take advantage of... Denver with a really tasty step back right there, but didn't hit it. It's well done. Goodness gracious. I feel like a stranger with a suspiciously specific comment. He says, hey, Baton Rouge Parish, East Baton Rouge Parish Prison is not a fun place. I'm going to take your word on that. I don't know if you saw maybe a YouTube video on that, or, maybe you had a friend that maybe visited there for a night after a basketball game. No, that was a nice steal right there. LSU waiting for a foul, but guess what, man? LSU having some scoring issues now. This is more like what I was thinking would be going on. Oh, Denver was thinking about a long pass right there. Chad Bacon lasagna with us.
Splash.
Oh, did he get fouled too? Oh, my goodness. I don't remember who called this. Somebody did. Some measured and thoughtful member of the chat said, they're going to get this straightened out. Whoop that ass. I was like, yes, they will. And Auburn is moving along pretty quickie. Melee says he baconed the lasag. Let's see. Yabo says that I see Kai on the sidelines cheering the team on, being a better teammate and stuff. That'd be nice. That'd be good. Asked BP about that in the press conference yesterday. He said something like, hey, man, I'm still getting better, and I'm 61. I said, exactly. That's exactly how I would have answered it. Sometimes people forget, Kai is very young. He got moved around high schools a lot, and he's probably not super mature. Okay, he's not super mature. And you got to give him an opportunity to get better. That's what we do. That's what we do. In college basketball, you got to get better. Better as a player, better as a person. Man, Auburn has really picked it up. So they started 0 for 9 from the floor. Now they're 10 of 28. That's pretty good. Plus 9 rebounding. You love to see it. Their assist to turnover is really turning around. 4 assists to 5 turnovers now. Much better than, I think it was 0 to 5 or 0 to 4. I can't remember which one. 7 steals for the Auburn Tigers. Auburn's plus 4 on points in the paint. Auburn is plus 3 points off turnovers. The one thing that surprises me is you have 12 offensive rebounds, but your second chance points are 0. That's a very unusual combination there. And Auburn is almost impossibly plus 15 on field goal attempts here. Plus 15, guys. We're just a little bit past halfway of the first half, and they're plus 15 shooting. Good God. Park jumps in with a super chat. My man. He's got a super chat. And I'll also say this one just for T-Park.
Is pimping easy?
Big Daddy Kane would say it ain't easy.
T-Park says, a little late Wednesday evening, quad one opponent, JGT. Is that true? Are they quad one? God, Auburn wins so many quad one games, I almost forget which one is which. Yeah. I mean, it's so commonplace, you know. Let's see. MC Tigger says Broom has left several points on the floor. You're right. He had a lot of opportunities for stickbacks there early, for sure. Some of those will start to fall. I agree with that. And Stoop Up says 10-0 run. I don't know if they're on one or if he's wishing for one. We'll see. Auburn is on a 10-0 run, a 15-2 run, in fact, on top of that. LSU has 4 turnovers in the last 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and that includes the score. That's how long the scoring drought is. 0 of 9 start, 10 of 19 since then. I think everyone will take it here in this chat anyway, unless we have some stray LSU fans, which you guys are welcome to watch the game with us. We're not going to talk a lot of mean stuff about LSU. We're not mean-spirited people. However, you are going to get your ass beat in your own stadium, in your own gym. But that's fine. It happens. It happens when you play Auburn. Nice little tap rebound there. Interesting that we're seeing more Turtle. Like a little more Turtle and a little less Chaney right now. And we were all kind of thinking Chaney was playing reasonably.
Drop. Boom shakalaka.
That was a tasty-ass dunk right there. Man, Auburn gets a lot of buckets that way. They kind of do that little dipsy-do, like a high screen, or maybe it's a DHO, depends on the machination. And then the backside, you got a big that runs to the bucket, and it's like these guys are caught looking. Like 10's got his eyes forward, 11's got his eyes forward, 4 is just chasing, and there's nobody to really keep up with Dylan, and he's gone. And they run that for Chad, they run it for Dylan, they run it for Chaney sometimes. I've even seen one where they run it for Miles, where Miles comes down the baseline. So a lot of that has to do with Auburn's such a problem driving. Oh, man, good eye. Chris sees JPP in there. I watched him at practice yesterday, and I thought he practiced well. He's always into practice. He's not like sitting on the sidelines moping around like a little baby. He doesn't do that at all. He's totally involved and socially involved. I mean, you would never know watching practice that he doesn't play very much. But I thought he had a good practice. That was not his fault, by the way. LSU gets an easy bucket in transition. Often out of bounds. Very rare you see Auburn with an attacking out of bounds play get so beat up on it. But all right, so the reason they're going to JPP here is that Denver just really hasn't. I mean, this is his third straight game where I think he hasn't been very good. And I do think he's miscast a little bit, not because the coaches are idiots and they're just doing it wrong. It's because they need a point guard, and he can kind of play one on TV a little bit. But he's really a shooting guard. He's a spot-up shooter. Coach Chad Pruitt down there trying to will his way into a turnover. Played a central role in the scout this week. That was just well scouted, honestly. I mean, number one just anticipated that really well. It's good coaching, man, and good execution. Let's see, Rob says, I'd kill to go on a cruise, but I'm divorced and have kids and travel sports. Oh, you don't have to say no more, my man. Kids, and all you had to say was kids and travel sports. That is a tough one. I only had one kid, first of all, but she was in travel sports, and that pretty much put it in jeopardy right there. Tim says, what if JPP puts it together in this exact moment? You know, I was thinking about this yesterday. So what if all of a sudden JPP got really hot and started playing great basketball, right? How long would it take for us, those of us who watch together, and how long would it take BP/coaching staff to actually play him more? You know what I mean? Like, how many shots in a row would it take? How many great passes would it take? I don't know. My answer is more than I probably think, right? I mean, it would take like quite a bit, I think. And that's the crazy thing. I was thinking about it at practice too. Like, The one thing they don't have is a point guard, and that's probably the one thing they absolutely thought they did have coming in, that they picked him up. And Auburn's this is getting a little ragged here. I think Auburn's fine with ragged, though, at this point. All right, Tahad with a little rolling off that high screen. We've seen a lot less ISO in the last 8 to 10 minutes, haven't we? I thought we would see a little more stuff for Janai here. Oh, Tahad just kind of wills his way in on one of these. It's a nice play. Okay, I've shorted them a bucket, so I will rectify that immediately. Rectify that? What do you mean, JG? I think... Oh, that's going downtown. Miles Kelly. Not a spectacular finish, but really, if it's ones and zeros, we'll take it as a 1. Actually a 2, but you know what I mean. Auburn getting really aggressive with the high traps right now. That was really well done, too. I like Dylan's choice to kind of pull it back a little bit, but I think he had the alley-oop had he just anticipated that a little bit better. He ended up taking the shot himself. I don't think it was a bad shot. I still think it was a missed opportunity. And now Chris Moore just fouled a guy on a three-point shot. Dude, sit him down. Yes, Franks is insane handles by Kelly to control that. The body shaping as he approached the rim was pretty crazy, too. Spicy Piece is hot as point guard 1. I think so. I think we're watching that happen right now. You could watch it. But the thing is, this is what pisses me off on the bunker, is that Auburn Tiger, what is it, 88-20? Who's got the Chipper Jones avatar. He's the one that says Denver's trash, and he's not. He's just not, he's not a point guard. He's a spot-up shooter, and so if Tahad's going to be PG1, and let's just say, I'm just theorizing, that JPP becomes point guard 2, which I don't think is unreasonable. I think he could probably handle that if he got about 10% better, 15% better. Then you can have Denver be like a spot-up shooter. And I think he would be much better. I think it'd be much better for the team. Terrence says, JGT, any non-dunk Cardwell shot is a bad shot, my man. Spicy P says, Denver isn't trash. Hot is just PG1. Yeah, Denver's not trash. Let Denver do what Denver does, what he's supposed to be doing in real life. What a great finish from Chad right there. And he got fouled. That is a tough finish because was he right-handed and he was finishing backward, I think. Yeah, he's not necessarily two-handed, but I would give him a 3-star weekend out of 5. But finished it spinning around, fouled, right-handed. That's pretty damn good. Oh, man, he willed it in. 33-22. Auburn still, this is kind of a grindy game, but the defensive plays into, he called bank, didn't he? Defensive deflections and pressure coming off screens has created so many turnovers, and Auburn's been able to get long passes out in transition. That's something they were working on also in practice. Tahad with a pretty good look from 3, missed it, but it was a good look. I don't think anyone's going to complain about that one. Kanuman says, the sooner everyone stops listening to 88-20, the better. He has been a joke for a decade plus, is what he says. I'm not sure I've really noticed in that long. Sometimes people, I tend to just kind of focus on the posters that are good, and so, if I'm going through a thread and, wow, that was a very valorous take by Tahad there. And if I see good posters in there, and you guys pretty much know who the good posters are. I mean, you guys are a lot of them, honestly. But just kind of follow what they say, and then I don't know. There's certain posters I don't want to say because they're all subscribers, But there's certain posters I just immediately tune out of a thread if they're in it because I got an idea where they're going with it. Oh, Todd just got elbowed out of bounds. No big deal. He jumped right back up. He's fine. It's a tie. Going to LSU. Blake says that wasn't a foul. I was a little bit surprised myself. I think the officiating's been pretty good in this game so far. But that was, to me, a little of maybe a peculiar decision there. Curious. There's Coach Chad Pruitt getting a little more TV time. A curious non-call. We'll call it that way. Curious. Time for some hot, fresh stats brought to you by Kmart, where the common man goes to shop, and by Costco for all your warehouse needs. And also, if you like big TVs, that's a good place to go shop. Plus, they have great shrimp. I don't know if you guys are into shrimp, but they sell shrimp there, and it's delish. Here's the latest stats. Also, Hayden is swum in. We love it. He says, during the timeout, thoughts on Kentucky-Tennessee last night? Good game. It was a good game. I thought Tennessee's defense was less effective than I would have expected in that game. And Kentucky is a little schizophrenic, right? Sometimes they play average and sometimes they play great. And last night they were playing, well, I kind of bullshitted there, didn't I? They weren't actually great, but they were pretty good. And I don't know. Tennessee didn't get enough stops. I don't really know how else to put that. I like them, though. I like it. The blue light special today at Kmart. Buy one, get one Ginsu knives. Listen, man, these guys stay sharp. You can cut meat with them. You can cut leather with them if you get the special Ginsu leather knife. Really just fun for the whole family. And if you act now, if you come by before 5 o'clock, we'll give you a leather holster as well. But be sure and register that with the local authorities if you live in Oklahoma or Idaho. Spicy Pieces UK hit the 3. That was the difference. And Carter B's in here. What's up, Carter? Glad to have you, bro. I'm kind of glad you weren't with us early because you would have been really pissed about how things started. I know you get mad sometimes, but they're playing much better basketball now, just as we thought that they would. Tied at the hump. That's a short trip over there for those guys. Tuscaloosa to Mississippi State's maybe, 50 minutes? Something like that. Chip says they sell farm-raised Asian shrimp at Costco. They sell real Gulf of America caught shrimp down here. Yeah, I wish I lived down near the coast. We have one place in town that sells proper seafood from the Gulf, but it's a long way from me. And I don't know. I only go over there if I'm going to cook it that day or the next day. These shrimp I can just leave in the fridge, or rather the freezer, for a long, long time. Cassidy P says boards. I like the flow, and CBM stands on business. Yeah, this is a great game for Cassidy P. 21 boards to 14 plus 7. I'd actually like to see Auburn be a little bit more ahead than that, considering the way things were going. But 5 assists and 6 turnovers still surprises me. 12 turnovers for LSU, which doesn't surprise me having watched the game, but I didn't think they would turn the ball over quite that much. Anonymous says Gulf of America. To me, it's not even like I don't even refer to it by its old name anymore. I just go Gulf of America. It's surprising how often people get pissed when I say it or look at me funny. It's the Gulf of America. We should have done this years ago. Also, I would be in favor of ditching. Well, no, going to daylight saving time year round. Like, so we don't have standard time anymore. We just do daylight saving. That'd be good for me. That way we get the spring and, we stay lighter longer. Because do we really care about it in the morning? I don't. Let's see. Solo Tigres is going to have to run. And speaking at church tonight, you guys pull this one out for me. I like Solo. I'd like to know what the topic's going to be tonight. Maybe fill us in next time. Let us know how it goes. Carter B jumps in with a super chat. Let me give you one of these.
Super chat.
Glad to have you here, man. Again, I should say. I know you've been with us. Let's see. Chip says, I can teach JGT to make shrimp etouffee. If he's down, I do love shrimp etouffee. That sounds a little. See, so Chip's been living. Oh, what a finish from Janai. We got to give him a drop on that.
Drop!
That was a challenging finish. Even with his left hand, still challenging. Chip's been on the coast for most of his life, and he's certainly got that culinary thing going, so he's had a lot of chances to perfect some of his Creole / seafood inspired dishes. And I'm still kind of new. Anonymous says, what are you going to call Greenland? Oh, man, that's a good one, man. I don't know. I'd be fine with leaving it as Greenland. And just, maybe like Greenland presented by. something, presented by the United States of America or whatever. I know Denmark, I like the way that they were kind of defending themselves. They were like, hey, man, I know we can't fight you, but you'd be a real dick to come over here and take it from us. I was like, yeah, terrified. Hey, man, if you guys send us some pole stars, that'd be fine. I mean, I'd be willing to back down on it. Yeah, Kaduman says Janai is so smooth. He really is. And he can kind of change the angles a little bit, Oh, he just worked that old dude. I couldn't quite finish, though, man. There you go, Kaduman. I like that. Greenland powered by the United States. There we go. That's good. I like that one even better. I think it'd be pretty cool to go ahead and take it. Oh, nice steal. Denver Jones. 88-20 is going to be morose after that one. Morose. Oh, I shorted them a bucket. My bad. All right, now we got the correct score, guys. Sorry about that. Let's see. Chip says, easy JJT, you would amaze yourself. The problem is that my threshold for being amazed at my own cooking is really low, and that's bad. You know what I mean? I impress myself too easily, and I think some of the things that I make that I get impressed with are just kind of average. But it's better than the fact that all I could cook was SpaghettiOs about 5 years ago. And that was a great play from Denver. Just anticipate that. Go ahead and finish it gently. Great teammate, by the way. I don't think we talk about that enough. Dylan Cardwell with a
Boom shakalaka.
little half transition bucket there. LSU having all kinds of trouble with ball control. They're screwed right now. No, they're not. They were able to get out of it, but they're very harried, and this shit's not going to work. Auburn's just absolutely just got they're clamping them down right now. I mean, LSU's just not. Oh, Chad. Oh. There's Janai's one of his 2 threes. He's contractually obligated to take every game. Cassidy B says they don't appear to have much opportunity in the half-court sets against us. Yes, that is absolutely true. I was surprised. I came into the game thinking LSU might score 50. And there's another splash for them. But they got off to a kind of a hot start. I think they were 7 of 11 from the floor to open. So they're scoring a little bit of a higher clip than I would have expected. Looks like Auburn's going to get this last shot here. Oh, Tahad coming off 2 half screens, then just kind of floats. Just kind of floats into about a 6-foot shot, just kisses that bad boy off the glass and puts it in. I don't know what BP's kind of surveying the scene. I don't know exactly what he's looking for or looking at. That was a beautiful play. 15 turnovers for LSU in the first half, and that is huge. Absolutely huge. Let's get some hot, fresh stats, and let's go through that. Let's comb over them and come to some major conclusions that may or may not actually make sense based on statistical markers that may or may not actually mean anything. One of my favorite things to do. One thing I don't like is Pat Bradley very much. You guys know that. He played at Arkansas at a time when I really hated Arkansas. I don't really care anymore, although I don't like him. With Musselman gone, I don't really care. All right. This is your halftime numbers. Some interesting things happened during that half. Some very interesting things. All right, so Wizard D says Broom looked like he was upset. I didn't see that. Interesting things that happened in that half. Auburn obviously having 9 offensive rebounds in the first minute was shocking. Or 7, I should say, in the first minute. They start 0 for 9 from the floor, although a lot of that is the staccato miss, offensive rebound, miss, offensive rebound, miss, stick back, missed. It happened so fast. So they got up 7 or 8 offensive rebounds right away and did nothing with them. But then they stabilized and shot the ball very well. I thought they got out in transition. Let's see. Points off turnovers, Auburn's +7 at this point. I thought it would be more. Fast break, they're +8. Blake R says Pat Bradley is the most annoying New England accent. I just can't get into the guy, man. I really disliked him as a player. He didn't belong at Arkansas. I just didn't like him. The Auburn Tigers 3 of 12 from 3. They're 3 of 10. Auburn's 3-point shooting has not been awesome lately. That is definitely a stat that's going on. 2 of 4 from the line, which is weird because Auburn's been more free throwy lately, more attacking lately. But today it hasn't really been that way. I mean, Auburn's had a lot of buckets in transition that weren't even contested. And Anonymous points out something that we noted earlier, that 15 offensive rebounds and you've got 2 second chance points. At one point they had 0, which was crazy. And they'd had at that point, I think, 11 offensive rebounds and 0 points off them, which is insane. That's a statistical marker you may never see or rarely see. 6 points for Janai on 3 of 14 shooting, which is horrible. 11 boards is right on par for him. For him to have no assists is unusual, and 2 turnovers is unusual. He definitely values possession typically. So kind of a weird half for him. Denver, 9 points. He got subbed out quickly and early, and Tahad kind of took over at point guard. But Tahad got 14 all at point guard, 6 points on 3 of 6 shooting, 1 assist. Nope, 0 assists, 0 turnovers, which is unusual. Auburn did finish the half with more assists than turnovers, which is surprising because I think they were 0 for 4, 0 for 5 to start. So they definitely this is a story about a team that got sucked into a weird vortex in the beginning and then stabilized and just kind of squeezed the nuts to get things going. I mean, that's really that's the story right here. But another thing that's weird is to see JPP in there for a shift, just to kind of spell a Denver, which was, normally you don't even see JP at all. I thought he practiced well yesterday, but boy, I mean, he's practiced well before and they didn't play him at all. So your player of the half is probably Miles, right? 10 points on 4 of 7 shooting. That's pretty efficient. 2 boards, which is pretty good for him. 1 assist, no turnovers, 2 steals. And he's -1, interestingly, although he's in there for that very beginning, that onslaught in the beginning. Chad Bacon, the Zonia, with 9 points. He's leading the team with +12 on the plus-minus. 4 assists and 1 turnover for him is terrific. So he's having a nice half as well. Chaney's another guy where, we're almost to a point now where you start thinking Chaney's a one-half player, right? It seemed like his first halves typically are slowed by foul trouble, which is what happened here. 2 fouls, 7 minutes, 0 points. And then he typically comes through with 10 or 11 or 12 points in the second half. It's kind of becoming a thing. Let's see. Thomas says, I hope we have another opportunity to get JPP in there around the 5-minute mark or so. I know what you mean by that. You're trying to say they might be up 20. And then you can put him in there and not have any fear of any problems, right? Stoop Up says, Broom is 10 of 33 in the last 3 halves. That is not great. Ankle's got to be an issue. Today, I feel like he's looked explosive today. But you're right. He's not been good. You can't really sit here at 3 of 14 and say, yeah, he looks good. He looks terrible. I feel like his looks have been decent. He's had some stick-back opportunities that got stuffed. But again, 8 offensive rebounds, 11 rebounds overall, not bad. The thing that sticks out for those of us who watch him all the time is the passing, right? 2 turnovers and 0 assists for him is really weird because he's such an amazing passer. So he's having some trouble there. Cassidy P says, Chaney reverts back to... Oh, I changed it on my thing. Sorry.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Changed my buttons around. It's over here in the corner now. I got to get used to my new button layout. Had to get some new buttons for the heating up. Boom Shakalaka, he's on fire, and also my pimping.
Is pimping easy?
Big Daddy Kane would say it ain't easy.
I love that soundbite. I don't even know why. Auburn fan 123 says, if there's ever a bet for Chaney to have 2 fouls at halftime, I will bet the house on it. Oh, man, that is a great bet. I'd be surprised if you'd be able to make any money on it because it would be such a chalky bet. You know what I mean? In horse racing, that would be like 1-5 favorite. Pat Day riding at Churchill Downs today. Musical Lights, excuse me. He's off at 1-5. We're going to make 10 cents on that bet, guys. Auburn fan 123 says, JGT, do you agree that Turtle needs to take all of Simo's minutes at the 4? Well, Simo rarely plays 4. Well, I guess no, he plays a little bit, I guess, yeah. I think of Turtle as a 5, actually. But, yeah, I'd be cool with that. particularly if he's going to do like he did today where he pump fakes at the 3-point line, drives in and finishes in the lane in a reasonably short period of time. Like, I thought that was great. Of course, you guys know I'm Turtle's biggest apologist short of his mother. Spicy Pieces, Jay, what movie show is the Danger Zone soundbite from? I couldn't find it. It's because it's not a TV show. It's an actual YouTube video where a guy is describing the crazy hot matrix for women. Like, the hotter they are, the crazier they are. And then he kind of describes he plots them like on a chart, you know? And then he talks about the different zones of like hotness and craziness. Like the super crazy girls that aren't hot, you just stay the hell away from them. The hot ones that are crazy, you kind of have to make your own decisions, right? And then any girl that's on that line that's just kind of riding equally hot, equally crazy, you just got to figure it out for yourself. And I think that's where a lot of guys go wrong. This is also applicable to women too, like where they can be looking at guys. I think guys are a little different with the hot crazy because I think craziness in men is not necessarily rooted in how good looking they are. Yeah, but I'm an ugly person, so maybe I'm biased. I don't know. I thought it was an incredibly articulate and well thought out, well scienced discussion of the crazy hot matrix. And Spicy P says he's seen it. So, AU Taxman notes Bunny in the Pot. That's definitely, yeah. Let's just go ahead and enjoy that sound clip while we're here.
The Danger Zone. This is your redheads, your strippers, anyone named Tiffany. This is where your car gets keyed, you get a bunny in the pot, your tires get slashed, and you wind up in jail.
I have fortunately never been in jail due to a woman, but I have seen men get hauled off to jail because of a woman, and yeah. Anonymous says, Simo is 1,000% effort. He's also 1,000% teammate, too. Great guy to have on the team, practices hard, encourages people. Great personality. Reminds me of Buck Johnson's kid that played at Auburn back 4 or 5 years ago. His name escapes me. He wore number 1. I don't know. Forgot his name now. Jamal Johnson. Great kid. And TJ Lang before that. Loved him too. You can't have 13 assholes. You can't do it. You got to have some. It's okay to have some assholes, but you also got to have some good kids too. Let's see. Blake says they're all crazy, but hot tends to be more crazy, and it's got to be because hot naturally gets more attention. That's interesting. That's interesting. Because like in my own life, like probably the hottest girl that I know is one of the most grounded. And then the craziest girl I know, well, it depends on your definition of crazy. If you're talking about just acting out and like punching windows, like I don't know anybody like that. But if you're talking about like just like that autistic weirdness, just awkwardness, like I don't know. Does that count as crazy? Yalo says I'd have a beer with Simo. That is a great list that we ought to go through. Like Auburn Tigers. Who would you like to most which player would you most like to have a beer with? That's a great list, actually. Nick A says, I'm married to a Tiffany with a Y, thank goodness. If it was with an I, I'd tell you to run regardless. He says, wife always looks at me a little wild when that soundbite plays. It is very suspiciously specific, right, for somebody to say you just got to stay away from all girls named Tiffany. He's obviously had some bad experiences, either listening to Tiffany in the late 80s, probably met a redheaded stripper named Tiffany, and it really, really marred him, but it happens sometimes. Tiffany's are crazy. I haven't known a Tiffany in a long time, Double D's. Great to see you, man. I got to hear our buddy U-Wish going off today on Warzone. Our teammate was eating, like, into the mic. He was pissed. Let's see. Blake says, I'd have a beer with Janai. Yeah, absolutely. He would not be my first choice, though. He's a great player and a good dude, but he's not my first. Who would be my first on this team to have a beer with him? I'd probably say Cheney. I doubt he would even drink a beer. And then Turtle for me. Turtle would be great. Simo would be great. Not Tahad. He's not even drinking age. And I don't know about Dylan, man. Great kid, though. Double D just gives it an LOL. He gets the joke. Anonymous says beer with Reese Dismukes. I don't think you could do any better. I would really like to, all time, a beer with Reese and Kozan and Jeremy Engel and Rich Trucks and Antarius Williams and Brent Shaning and Cedric Marks, and this would be a tough one, but Quentin Groves. And, boy, you've got yourself a group there. And we'll throw in a P. Lee, too, just for shits and gigs. That would be an amazing... Like, remember they used to do those Auburn videos back in the 90s where it was like, Auburn legends talking about Auburn. And it was like, it was like Pat Sullivan, and it wasn't really Bo, but it was, Tucker Fredrickson or whatever from the 80s. These were, I'm talking about the ones produced in the 80s. Lee Zimba is one. I've actually had beers with Lee Zimba, and I enjoy it. Beer with Stephen Pearl would work. I don't think I would want to drink beer with Stephen Pearl. Bourbon with Chad Pruitt would be fun. I would definitely do that. Beer with Barkley that'd be a W. Yabo says no doubt. I agree with you. Beer with Barkley would be great. So letter grades for the first half, just kind of kicking it here. Denver Jones probably a C. I'm just going off the hoof here. Janai C. Chad Baker Mazar probably B+. He's been great in transition, finished really well, hit his free throws. Oh, he's 2 of 4. Never mind. Let's knock that back to a B. Miles Kelly B+. Dylan Cardwell incomplete, didn't play enough. Played 12 minutes, but really wasn't a big factor. But 4 points for him is actually pretty good. Shit. Let's give him a C+. C+. Tahad A-. He was the auger. He was driving. He was dishing. He was passing the ball to people. He was shooting. He had a beautiful floater that kissed off the glass at the end of the half. Give him an A-. JP actually playing a little bit. To give him a C+. Simo incomplete. Turtle, I'm going to give him an A just because I love that drive. You guys thought he couldn't score at all, and he did. And then Chaney Johnson incomplete. That's what I'm looking for. Daniel D says Cam Newton. I don't know, man. I think Cam Newton would be all over the place. Like, you couldn't have a conversation with him because he's just like so stream of consciousness about everything. Blake Robinson says Chad Pruitt spelled correctly is the one I would smoke a fatty with category. Whoa, buddy. I guess you mean a cigar, right? Let's see. Tim says beer with Tim Cook to tell him to give us some damn money. My man. Beer at Takeo Spikes or T-Will. T-Will, man. I've had a few with T-Will in the day. Great guy. I've only met Takeo. I didn't cover him. Let's see. Shane says I've had a few beers at Engel and Edens. He certainly means the older Edens. In Destin this past summer. Very cool dudes. Great stories. Unbelievable guys. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better guy than Brett Edens, honestly. I mean, I always tell people that Brent Shaning was my favorite, but I don't know. Brett Edens is a great guy, too, and Jeremy, obviously, so good. See, those two guys were so good to me when I was a young beat reporter at the Montgomery Advertiser. Jeremy from St. James and Brett from Trinity, both Montgomery guys. And, studs. Thomas thinks that Turtle deserves an A just for that one play, right? And I thought he played good when he was in there. I'm a big fan of his anyway. And we were talking earlier about signing a petition on change.org to make sure that he gets Simo's minutes. I'm on board. Hey, just give him a chance to do it until he shows that he can. Because, I mean, really, the threshold's pretty low if you're just trying to outperform Simo. You know what I mean? Frank G says Edens sack in 2004. Almost every time I see him, maybe not every single time, but almost every time I see him, I say something about the sack. And it's almost like the joke where, like, one of the jokes I always tell my friends is, like, if their wife's there or whatever, I say something about, oh, he's been saying great things about you in the group chat. Just kind of setting him up. So if Brett's around, I'm always like, I don't know if you know this, but Brett had this amazing sack in the LSU game that turned the tide. There's this great picture of him flying through the air to sack Rohan Davey. And Brett's always like, oh, it was nothing really. It's hilarious. Let's see. Spicy Pieces. Peyton Thorne is one of us. Just a dude that loves Miller Lite and Southern Chicks. Peyton got a lot of crap on the board, but I think most of that was just related to his lack of, like, big plays, right? Because he's a good dude. Anonymous says JPP deserves an F. He came in and gave up the turnover and was immediately benched. He wasn't immediately benched, but in retrospect, I think he did. He could have helped that turnover. Maybe not happen. All right, we're back. Second half has started. We have a delicious cross-court pass, bounce pass From Chad Bacon Lasagna, and then the splash is the Denver. So Denver doing what I said he does. Spot up shooting. Let him be a spot up shooter, bro. If he's in rhythm, man, he's cash money. The trick is you can't play Tahad all those minutes at point, so it's got to be kind of a division of labor there. That was a nice cross-court pass to a wide-open shooter, and he just barely hit rim, bro. What was that? LSU can't shoot at all. Had Auburn winning this game by, I think, 13. A small victory says Broom strong half, calling it. He's got to have one. He can't have a worse one, right? Daniel D wants to know our favorite beer brand. Small Time Republic jokes into duels with Gus, my man. That's good. That's good. I don't drink a lot of beer myself. I don't know what the bunker's favorite would be. Probably something like bougie, like Guinness or Stella or Peroni, something like that. I happen to think, like, if I was just grabbing a regular-ass beer, I'd probably drink a Coors Banquet. That was a nice finish. Dude, Josh Moon would have done that to me 15 times if we were playing a game right now. I always used to tell him that play would never work in real life, and then that guy just scored a bucket like Josh Moon used to score all the time and pick up. That shit where he goes under you and throws it up. Because I'm not good enough to block that shot, but anybody else would. This stuff would drive me crazy if somebody scored on me like this. Oh, that's some old school right there, man. That's like Pistol Pete. There's a guy in my gym, older guy, that loves talking about Pistol Pete and how good he was. And he's like, Pistol Pete really good, man. He's better than anybody now. I mean, Steph Curry pretty good, but Pistol Pete better than he was. Damn, bro. I like him. Yeah, I bet. I mean, Pistol Pete is a bad man. That same guy was wearing a 1985 NBA championship finals hat the other day. He's fanatical about Larry Bird. Larry Bird. I'm just like, man, I know. Let's see. Chip's favorite on the low end would be Coors Banquets, a.k.a. Grenades, and a Miller High Life, which I don't know that I've had. There's Janai getting his first bucket of the half here. 46-34. I got to give them a little more credit. Sorry about that, LSU. My bad. Not really worried about it, but I will give them credit. I like to keep it right. I want to be accurate. Let's see what else we're talking about here. Blake R. says Guinness and Murphy's Stout. Yabo says Yingling. I haven't even thought about Yingling in a while. That was such a hot beer, like, 12 maybe years ago, 15? I feel like it's kind of tailed off, but it's still good, man. They used to make this black and tan. I don't know if they still do. It's very filling, but, man, it tastes good. Yabo likes Red Stripe. When we went to Jamaica, that's a nice finish for LSU. We drank a lot of Red Stripe. It's good. When we're in the Dominican, we drink Presidente. And you get to the point where you really like it there, too, but I always like, Chaney's picking up a third foul right there, and the dude just hit it. His name is Chest. It's a perfect name for a guy at LSU, because if you remember Les Miles used to say so-and-so didn't have the chest. I'm surprised number 10 didn't hurt his hip landing on it like that. God, if that happened to me, I wouldn't walk for 2 days. I'm telling you, man, Chaney's one more foul away from just being a zero in this game, dude. Good God. Madison C says Stella for the win. Stella, definitely kind of a bougie beer. Pretty good, though. My man Cuz likes to drink a Stella, I think. Bored. Auburn not shooting well this half, man. Janai had that nice bucket, and you think they're going to get going, and it's just, and Denver started off with a 3, but nothing since then, really. See, Janai, a little resistance at the rim there without getting a foul. That was nice. Miles Kelly with the Mike Hampton move right there. Stellar stop. Fastball, change up. Fastball, change up. Go, go, go. Is that Chaney? Chaney's got a look on his face like it was him. I didn't see it, though. Let me see what they're showing Chaney's foul situation is. No, they called that on Janai. So we got 3 on Chaney. Yabo says he will feel that when he turns about 35. Speaking of that, man, I got another friend of mine from high school. It's going to have to get her, I think she got 1 hip done already. She's going to have to get another hip done. She's my age. I'm like, when I was younger, I don't remember my parents or anybody like getting their hips replaced, and it seems like it's happening a lot more now. I wonder what's going on with that. Russell says favorite beer equals cold and free. I'm going to give you an applause for that because that's probably how I feel about it. It's kind of like my taste in bourbon. I just pretty much whatever's there, man. I used to spend a lot of time chasing this, that, and the other thing, but now I just kind of drink whatever's around. It's all pretty good, really. You go to an ABC store in the state of Alabama, and probably wherever you're at, depending on if you're not in Alabama, there's good stuff in there. I feel like a stranger says Miles playing so well these last 3 weeks. Thank God, because I said he was going to be on the All-SEC team. Not necessarily first team, but on one of the top 3 teams. But he might be working his way there now. Shane H. jumps in with a super chat, says he jumps in with a
super chat.
Saying Dylan and Chaney pick up the dumbest fouls, man. Yeah, Dylan picked up in his career more than anybody, but he's been better like the last half of last year. Nice. That's using your head right there. Denver. About halfway through the year last year, Dylan kind of eased up on the terrible foul thing, and then he's not been great today. All right, Janai, you've had your 2 contractually obligated 3-point attempts. They were both bricks. Let's just let that one go, okay? If you don't mind. Wizard D says Auburn's free throw defense stepping up. They are good at free throw defense, actually. Spicy P says seed oils, JG seed oils, I guess to try to avoid joint problems. I have not heard that, but I'm open to anything. I don't think I'm at risk for having a hip problem. I'm not yet. Knuman is more like 20 years ago for Yingling. The years get away from me. I guess you're right. It was when Maddie was pretty young. She's almost 23 now, so yeah. The black and tans, I definitely have a picture of Maddie getting a black and tan for me out of the refrigerator, and she could barely get up to it, so you're right on that one. Yabo says Tiger Brew for Mama G's is my second favorite. Does that still exist? I don't think so. I've been in there a bunch of times and haven't seen it, bro. Speaking of that, my version of Tiger Brew when I went to high school in Oklahoma was QT Quitting Time beer, which they are bringing back. But it's a little bit of a misnomer for those of you who are in the QT range who live near one. I think my friends in Atlanta are probably near some QTs there. It's not going to be the dog water that it was in the 80s because they actually have a proper brewery now. In fact, you know what? Now I think about it, it's only the QTs in Oklahoma that are going to get it. So those of you who stop at that awesome QT on Sugarloaf probably aren't going to get that there. But anyway, it's not going to be the dog water it was. They're going to actually have a proper brewer doing it right. Probably end up being decent. But it was terrible back in the day. Look at Shane. He says, no, sir. He got blocked, though. Lana Mouse is a fan of the Yingling Black and Tan. Glad to hear that. Canoeman says Mike Hampton. Ha, ha, ha. That's right. I can't think of anybody else who could start-stop as well as him, man. I know he's not a basketball player, but, he'd just throw fastballs and change-ups back-to-back, and everybody would just be whiffing at him. It's hard to mess with those changing in speeds. Let's go ahead and get some stats up. We'll do it without Beppo. And I'm going to shoot, as you guys know, I love second half box scores right after halftime because otherwise you get lost in the wash, so to speak, with all the stats from the first half. So we'll come together over these second half stats. Stats. All right. Hot, fresh stats coming right up. Dead even 9-9 this half. Auburn 3 of 9 from the floor. They're -1 in free throws. in rebounding. So Cassidy P is going to be a little dismayed by that. 2 assists and 0 turnovers for Auburn. I like that. You guys know how I feel about that. 2 assists and 2 turnovers for LSU. They're shooting 4 of 8 from the floor. Haven't shot poorly this game. 45% for them. But they're -23 on shots attempted. My God. Let's see. Feel Like a Stranger says Victorious Miller for LSU. I did not know this. Is Master P's nephew. And Silk the Shocker's son. I had no idea. That's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. Was Master P, was he the one that tried out for the Hornets back in the day? I think he was. Well, it's a Chip, man. Yeah, this is some low. This had to be back when you were very poor. We stole some Schaefer's beer from this girl's dad who had left it in the back of his truck. It was so bad we returned it the next night. He returned stolen beer. Wow. I don't think I've had Schaefer's. I think the worst beer I've ever had would have been Woofed Warm, Milwaukee's Best Red Label. Super, super bad. I think we've all been there, though. Maybe not actually, but metaphorically, you know. Man, when it gets woofed, ay. Let's see, Mike 7677 says Yingling was hot in the pre-craft IPA craze era. I was never on the IPA thing, but you're absolutely right about the time frame, and I remember the craze. I just always thought IPA kind of tasted like ass. It gets so... it just had a taste that didn't work for me, man. I guess it's earthy or... T-Park says Bourbon and Lax, one of the best Master P No Limit studio songs ever, Bourbon and Lax. So it was Master P that was trying out for the Hornets, right? Let's see, Chip says that Beast, this has never been said in the history of beer, Beast was Michelin star compared to that Schaefer. Terrence says Bud Ice was the worst I've ever paid for. Bud Ice is bad. Let's see. Tim the Toolman says Master P participated in the training camp and played in a few preseason games but was let go before the season got started back in 99. I was right on the number. All right, so it was Master P. I always think of him when he's rapping being like, Don says we would swipe beer as teens because it was a thrill more than because we were broke. And, you know, now you guys thinking about this, though, when he's in Holland, God, that was the tallest three-point shot I've ever seen. When he's in Holland, dude, they take that shit seriously. If you get busted for stealing beer in Holland and it's not from a German, like, you're in deep shit. Like, your family's name for the rest of time. LSU on a little bit of a burst here, a little micro burst. They hit that parabolic 3, and then they got an easy 2 in transition to cut this thing down under double digits. Auburn's up 9. I Feel Like a Stranger says Master P's real name is Percy Miller. I could have picked that out of a lineup, but I would not have been able to just figure it out on my own. Mike 7677 remembers Meisterbrow. That is bad. I drank Meisterbrow. We had a party. I worked at Red Lobster in 91. We had an after-work party, and we had Meisterbrow was all we could afford. And I was shotgunning Meisterbrows. Man, we've had some low points in our times, boys, but shotgunning Meisterbrow that may have been the absolute bottom. God, I hadn't thought about that in a while. That's so bad, dude. How bad do things have to be? Like, did you see who hit that 3? Did you see who hit it? Noted 3-point assassin Turtle splashing one. Yes, sir. He's got 5 points. He's 4 points over his average. Auburn's doing a great job of trapping in the corners. They've done it all night. 23, you better not try that, bro. That's a good idea to kick that ball out. I'm sorry, 20. All right, so that's an example where... BP always talks about being the second one off the floor, right? Dude, Janai went flying on that one. Dang, man. Oh. That's a horrendous foul choice by Janai. It's not a bad call at all. It's just a horrible. Why is he reaching back like that? Don't just take the L and move on, bro. Oh, it says audio out. You got to reset the. I'm showing audio. Reset your browser. There we go. I'm showing full sound and everything. All right, LSU continuing to run here a little bit. 55-50. Yeah, I definitely. It's a YouTube thing. All right, we got Spicy P back on. All right, there we go. And Small Victory says refresh worked on iPhone, YouTube. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I don't know if it's fully YouTube or if I'm part of it. But it seems like we hit this at approximately the same period of time. Like we're like an hour and a half into the show or whatever, and that's when people all of a sudden will have like a rash of like audio problems, and then we'll be fine. Like we can go another hour and we'll be fine. Spicy P says, are we even going to wake up? I feel like the fouls have been silly, and Auburn hasn't been paying attention, honestly. I just feel like the focus has not been there. So it's something where I think BP and Virgo and Chad or whoever will just sit down and chew ass right now, and he'll get them going. This is kind of following the script on the road, right, guys, though, where Auburn will play, great basketball, get up however much they were today, 12 or 14, and then they just kind of go on cruise control a little bit, and burning and conserving is fine, but they need to come out from this time out and really put the foot down and get back up to 10 or 12 or whatever. I hate that there's a fix needed at all, Small Victories. He just said easy fix, close out and come back in. I'm sorry that there's even a fix got to be done, but that's the way it is. I don't really understand. I don't watch a lot of streams on YouTube, believe it or not. I watch a lot of videos, but I don't watch streams, so I don't really know a lot of experience with that. Chip says, got to dip to the house from work, hold the lead while I'm out. All right, word, we'll do that. Don Proper Dickens says, Auburn's play style is we have this one getting killed in transition and effort. If Auburn's ever getting killed in transition and effort, something's not quite right, so they got to get that turned around. That's usually what Auburn does to other people. So that's the situation there. Maybe we should go ahead and take a look at these stats, Jay, instead of just rambling. Sometimes the chat just gets popping to a point where I just follow along like y'all do. I can't do that. I'm running the show here. I got my hands on the switches on my Chevy 6.4 red to be exact, with ladies on my side and ladies on my back. So back up, girls, because I'm struggling. Just get on your and then start juggling these. It's me, JG. Come on, man. I need to get these stats up, bro. Tired of watching these goofy LSU fans. What's the Waldo guy, man? That's done. That's been done. We need to do better than Where's Waldo outfits, guys. Of course, this coming from a beat writer whose team has a guy with a coconut bra at every game, so I should probably shut the fuck up. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to shut up. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and shut up. Coconut bra guy. I don't know. Very divisive. Very divisive as to whether he's getting any or not. It's like Chaney took one from the free throw line. I thought it was a good look. Tahad going to take a splash. So Chaney misses from the free throw line. Ball comes out long. And then Tahad says, I can put that one in. No problem. 58-50. 4-hour Tigers. First of all, thank you for jumping in. Feel like a stranger. 4-hour Tigers win the. Yeah, he'll be back in a second. Oh. Thank you for telling him to refresh his browser. That's exactly the solution there. Wood grain with the leather seats, my man, right there. That's a foul and a half, dude. That's 2 fouls. Denver Jones going to go to the line. I honestly thought that LSU would score about 50 in this game, so they're way ahead of what I thought. But I still feel like Auburn's got a really good shot to win this game. 4-hour Tigers is back with us. He thanks FLAS for the guidance on that. Yeah, you just got to reset. You just got to hit refresh and pick it back up. I'm not sure why, but I know that solves it. Denver Jones going to the line on a baseline drive and help it out a little bit. 12 minutes to go. LSU still got 52 right now. They're probably on par for 70 now, which is quite a bit. So Auburn defensively has been, to me, it's just kind of like mental lapses more than anything. I don't think they're getting out basketball necessarily. That's not the right word. You know what I mean? And I don't think LSU's stuff is like flummoxing Auburn from a strategic perspective. I think Auburn's just kind of mentally not quite in it. That was a sweet little cutback right there with that point guard. I don't know what he did there, but that was kind of a little Timmy Hardaway Sr. move right there. I like that. Rob B says, are you kidding me? Auburn should win this by 20. I picked Auburn to win in the teens. Yeah, so I definitely think so. And I thought this final score would be something in the neighborhood of, 70 to 50, something like that. And considering how slowly Auburn started offensively, to have 60 right now is not too bad. But you look at these second half numbers, and these are just a little bit out of date, but not too bad. 8 for 12 LSU shooting is a problem. That's not good. And a fast break is 4, plus 4 for LSU. You'd think Auburn should be ahead in that kind of a stat. Generally, I'm not saying based on what we've been watching, but in a general sense, you think Auburn's a better transition team than LSU. Chad's 0 for 3 from the floor this half. Tahad's 0 for 1. Well, that's not right. See, it's a little bit out of date because he just splashed a 3. Chaney just continuing to just kind of, he's got his foot on the brake, man. He's not getting anywhere right now. Cassidy P says, we're playing anxious and impatiently. Need to keep moving and switching on D because their half court is not good. Have to focus on the offense through Janai to collapse their D. And Beppo is in the house. What's up, bro? Fashion hot stats. Ravin says LSU will beat them if you let them. I completely agree. Auburn has just been mentally not quite where I thought they would be in this game. They seem like they're kind of checking out. Not necessarily like for the whole game. They just kind of get in these little lulls. And they do this. This is something that Auburn does. Today's not the first time. And they tend to have this trouble on the road. It tends to be a little more protracted on the road. I remember that Texas game where they were up. I felt like they had that game in hand, and it got a little dicey at the end. The game at Georgia, of course, was really dicey. The South Carolina game was just kind of a fist fight the whole way through. Desperado says, is Ja'Kai on the bench tonight? I see he's not been in the game, correct? We have not seen Ja'Kai tonight. Wouldn't be surprised if he didn't play. I think, him kind of fussing and pouting the other day, they've got to kind of get that straightened out. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was suspended, but we'll see how it goes. I feel like a stranger says, as you said, Jay, if we just play solid, it's an easy W. Instead, they're trying to make highlight plays, gamble steals, threes, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, just got to bear down and focus, man. I don't really know how else to put it. Auburn's been being outplayed in this half pretty badly, and they're still up 8. So I think Desperado was actually asking if Ja'Kai is there, and he is there. But he's not in that kind of trouble. Guess it just means you see a little more SEMO, which I know you guys love. Look at that. Chaney did a nice job on that. He didn't actually end up having to box out, but he was looking to box out. He didn't have anybody to actually get, but being good. Smart. That's a grab for sure. Tahad got to be a little more careful. You can't assume those kinds of passes. LSU's playing pretty involved defensively tonight, so you can't assume that kind of stuff. Anonymous says, do you think Ja'Kai is taking this discipline, or is he destined for the portal? Why not both? I don't think he'll be here next year. That's just my guess. No one's told me that. I don't have any reason to believe that aside from my gut tells me that. But I think he's been taking it okay. I just think he's an immature dude. Oh, man. Denver just got stuffed on a third. Oh, he got fouled. They're going to say no foul on that. Wow. Tell me basketball is not a contact sport. Chaney finesses a 3 in there, though. Got just over that rim and then got it in, rattled it home, but it's still worth 3. Who gives a damn? Dude, SEMO just got stepped over. I don't mean crossover it either. It was like a welcome mat for that lay-in right there. Sheesh. 54 now for LSU. Tahad with kind of a fall-away 3. I wish he would take better. Boy, Denver in rhythm, you feel like he's going to hit that 3. This game is getting really frenetic. The pace on this game is insane right now. It's 100 out of 100. Generally, I like Auburn in that situation. But since LSU I don't think they could score in the half court very well. they probably want to try to make it as frenetic as possible, and Auburn, in a way, is kind of playing into that. But typically, Auburn's a very good break team. I don't know. Maybe in this case, Auburn does need to slow it down just because it's really LSU's only way out, right? Is to let them transition you into peace. Look at this, Tahad. Calm down, bro. Anonymous like the defensive posture by Dylan Cardwell on the last possession. I agree. Wizard D says Stephen Pearl stated on the Jim Dunaway show and Ryan's show that Howard told the team that he needed to be a better teammate and keep his emotions in check. They kind of went around the room and talked about some things. So, first of all, I'm surprised that Stephen talked about that on the radio. Second of all, I think that's good. It shows a little bit of maybe a step forward for Ja'Kai in a maturity standpoint, acknowledging that he's culpable for some of the silliness that he's exhibited. I think his teammates, they know what he does and how he is. He gets very fussy about certain fouls, and he takes them personally. Things that happen to Tahad in practice, and he just kind of washes it off, lets the water go off his shoulder and moves on, Tahad and Ja'Kai really couldn't be more different, aside from the fact that they're both very young. But Tahad is very under control emotionally, and I would argue as a player too. Ja'Kai is pretty under control as a player, but emotionally a little more of a roller coaster, but I don't hold that against him. I feel like a stranger is somebody who knows a little bit about human psychology, and I think people just mature at different speeds, and they have breakthroughs on their own pace. You can't just psychology is not a cookie cutter game. It's different for everybody. Thomas says, does Ja'Kai not realize that he will be a main contributor next year? Yeah, I don't know about that. The story is that with Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt, anybody that's played in JUCO or I think is it NAIA? Oh, that's a nice little shot from Janai to kiss it off the glass. Anybody that played JUCO or I think NAIA automatically gets another year. So right now, as it stands, we talked a lot a month or two ago about Auburn's and rosters in serious trouble for next year. Well, now all of a sudden, Denver can come back. Essentially, everybody might be able to come back except for Simo, Dylan, and Janai. So all of a sudden, the roster looks a lot different, right? And that's not to say that Ja'Kai couldn't come back and play. I like him. Wow, that was a very ambitious drive. He was coming in a little hot, Janai was. I like that. He came in there and he forced that jump ball. That's smart. Tim says, do they offer services like therapy for players? Absolutely. Auburn has in my opinion, and I don't know the million of it, but they have a very good program for that, yes. Now, whether Ja'Kai's actually doing that or not, I don't know. And if I knew, I wouldn't tell you anyway because that's his own business. But, yes, they do offer that for players and for students too. I feel like a stranger correctly surmises that Ja'Kai likely had never had people give him tough love, real love until Auburn. A lot of times these players they're just so heralded. They're great athletes, they're great basketball players. Everybody knows they're D1 recruits, and when you hear that, people are thinking money, right? Ja'Kai, such a great athlete, he's going to be a great basketball player at Auburn, and he's going to make a lot of money in the NBA, et cetera, et cetera. I think people are just less likely to kind of want to get in his way because they want him to. Oh, Dylan couldn't finish that. It was a great pass. People don't want to get in his way and be remembered by Ja'Kai as somebody that was an obstacle for him. I want to be someone that empowers Ja'Kai, and he remembers me as someone who lifted him up and didn't doubt him, right? And it's not just Ja'Kai. I think this is a common predicament for high-level players. Ravin says, I think the relationship with Pearl and Howard is strong. I don't think it's weak. But I think they're still in the mode where he has to prove himself a little bit to BP. And BP loves underdogs. I was talking to Hoke about this yesterday. It's actually a point that Hoke brought up to me, which is that BP always kind of felt like an underdog himself, and I think he identifies with underdogs when he's assessing players. And Ja'Kai, even though I don't think of him as an underdog at all, because he was a terrific recruit, he's obviously a great athlete. It's hard to kind of frame him as an underdog. And I think maybe that's part of the issue. He should be an overdog. Anonymous says, what leads you to believe he will enter the portal? I really wasn't going that specific into it. I don't know. I think he'll get frustrated. I think he'll say, well, I could have played more, or maybe it's just that, I acted out and kind of made a fool of myself, and I'd rather just go somewhere else where I can start fresh. And I think that's probably the more likely scenario. But I don't know. I mean, I thought that Bryce Brown was headed that way. The portal was different back then, but I thought Bryce Brown, I didn't think he would stay as long as he did. And he did. And he matured. And he took a lot of shit off BP. Well-meaning shit. Stuff that doing it the right way. Like helping Bryce mature, I know. Spicy Pieces, we just can't make layups. It's insane. I mean, it just seems like every other game is like this. You could argue it's every game, but let me see what the actual numbers on this are. Auburn on layups tonight. This is incredible, Spicy P. 12 of 29 on layups, guys. 3 or 4 on dunks, so that's not a problem. But 12 of 29. I thought it was bad before. It is worse. This is the Georgia game that was worse. Believe it or not, LSU's worse statistically. They're 5 of 14 on layups, guys. 5 of 14. Revenge says BP and Jakai are both very competitive personalities. If they stick together, BP will push him to be better than he could ever dream of. No, LSU with another 3. This game continues to stay close. It's an 8-pointer. That wasn't an 8-point shot, but it's an 8-point lead now. I shorted Auburn a free throw while I was talking with you guys, reading some great stuff in the chat. A little bit panicky turnover there from Tahad, I believe, in the corner. I say that like Carnell Williams. God, this one right here reminds me of the Texas game. Although Auburn's lead was never quite that big, but that shot's too open, man. And that guy can shoot. Like, they gotta rotate better over there to him. Hayden's just hanging around, and it might be worse than that. They're just staying right there on their ass, really. All right, let me get over here and get you all some hot, fresh stats. I think this will be our last one just with the second half. I like seeing Kevin from The Office getting his own, it's actually his real name is Brian, but getting his own commercial there with the Bush's Beans. It's good stuff, man. I like that. I like it better than Peyton Manning. All right, hot, fresh stats coming right up. Coming right up to you. Come over here, bro. 26-30. I thought it would have been a little bit worse. I thought LSU was scoring more points than that. 11 of 20 from the floor for them. 8 of 27 for the Auburn Tigers, but still +7 shooting. A number that John Chaney was always talking about. He always wanted to limit shots. 17 boards to 14. Auburn's +3. I know Cassidy P is mildly impressed with that. Auburn, I think one of the things that's really helping Auburn there is 7 assists and 0 turnovers. 7 assists on 8 buckets. So that's some vintage Auburn. Vintage, not Charles Barkley, but vintage 10 games ago. 7 assists and 0 turnovers. Conversely, they are 5 assists and 2 turnovers. 4 of 12 from 3. 6 of 8 from the line. LSU not really getting to the line at all either. Man, 6 blocks for LSU this half, guys. Good golly, Miss Molly. And their points per possession there, bottom right, is 1.36 for LSU and 1.16 for Auburn. Auburn really like to see those two flip-flopped. And Frank says we aren't putting ourselves in position to get foul calls. That's really kind of the way Auburn attacks, right? A lot of times it's in transition where they're not even in position to get fouled, really, or it's Janai doing a turnaround, or it's three-point shooting, or just jump shooting, which you very rarely get fouled on jump shots. Probably 10% of the time, if not less. So Auburn just isn't. They just don't play a style that lends itself to a lot of free throw shooting. But tonight, I mean, they're not giving up many free throws either. So this is really, I think, and Spicy P would agree with me on this. This is about finishing at the hole, really. Scott says, trying hard to lose this game. I don't know about that, but they're doing all the things wrong. That's for sure. Where has Chad been this half? Yeah, 9 minutes, 0 points on 0 of 2 shooting, 1 rebound, 3 assists, and 0 turnovers, which is a plus. He's been actually, I think he had 4 assists in the first half, so he's been pretty good in that one regard, but not in the scoring regard at all. 67-60. I'm surprised this game. Well, no, am I really that surprised? The way Auburn plays on the road, they really seem to lose focus. More so on the road than they do at home. I think it's probably true for a lot of teams, but I don't really think of Auburn as a mortal team. This team's usually really, really good. And, I mean, they've been leading the whole game, so it hasn't been too bad. That was a weird play from Janai, and it puts it right down, though. I felt like he got about half as high as he usually gets on that one, but he was able to just kind of have the body control to get that. He was still able to get his body shape right. Oh, he's ready to say something back to that guy. He was hoping for a little bit of a bitch back from that LSU guy. He didn't hear a word. He was ready to roll, though. Yeah, I'll give you one of those, Anonymous. You're probably right.
Drop.
He deserved that one. It was a nice play, and he hits the free throw, so he consummates, as the kids say, a 3-point. The old-fashioned way. One of my least favorite basketball actions. Yeah, you could tell that was trouble right there. Number 3 was trying to dribble through the entire team, but Auburn fouled him, unfortunately. Let's see, Cassidy P thinks John I is slowly getting his swag back. Sorry, guys. I don't know what got in me. T.R. Tiger says, I can't believe I'm saying this, but he trusts SEMO a little bit more this half. The CBN based on body language. Chad needs to snap out of it. Yeah, Chad's been he's had a down half. Remember that game? I think it was the Georgia game where he had such an awful, it was like the last 8 minutes of the first half and then the first 5 minutes of the second half. So it was like a 13-minute span where he's playing like ass. He missed 10 shots in a row. He didn't play great at the end of the Georgia game, but he played, he was helping the team. He needs to get back in that mode. Turtle with a defensive rebound on that missed free throw. I'm trying to call out Turtle on everything he's doing tonight. I think he's been pretty good. Sneakily good. It's frustrating. Janai was open on that where he slides to the basket on the backside. He had it. They just didn't see him or couldn't get the ball to him. Small Victory says Broom and Turtle combo time. Let's do it. They haven't had a chance to really kind of work on that, have they? Usually it's Chaney, but Chaney's been bad tonight. Basically MIA. 4 points and 4 rebounds. Not too bad, but this hasn't been effectual. I don't really know what else to say. You kind of don't even notice him in the game for long stretches. He's been having some foul trouble today, but, it hasn't been, super bad. Oh, he has 4. That's true. Never mind. I just don't remember, any bad fouls. He had 2, just ticky-tacks. We were talking earlier about footwork hasn't been very good defensively. He just leans a lot, which he wasn't doing before. I'm not sure what's going on there. Because he's very fit. Oh, Janai got him. Oh, Janai got him again. All right, so it looks like they're just kind of in this mode at the moment where they're just going to feed Janai and let him go to work, which I support, and I think y'all do too. Looks like he's leaning on that ankle just a little bit. It's his left ankle. Oh, it's the other ankle. Never mind. I was thinking he hurt was it his right ankle that he hurt? Desperado says that will be great if Turtle really contributes. I think he can, man. I know he had a kind of a rough start in that he didn't start. I meant early part of the game against Georgia. But I thought he did some good stuff in that game, and I think they've been kind of wanting to give him more opportunities. But, yeah, having Turtle, Desperado, if he can come off the bench and, give him a good 15 minutes, and maybe even some buckets, some rebounds, that'd be sweet. That'd be a huge plus. Let's see. Colby's a little bit worried about Chaney. Yeah, this is probably 3 games in a row now, right, where he's not been kind of what we expected. Now, look, Auburn backed away from that trap right there. Turtle did. Oh, it was a great move by Turtle to get back in position. And he cut off what would have been an easy layup by moving his feet. That's got to be 20 steals now for Auburn, or 20 turnovers anyway for LSU. And then Turtle gets one on the other end. We're going to have to give him a drop on that.
Drop.
Man, this is going so fast. I'm kind of ball watching a little bit. BP's going to jump my ass for that. Turtle made a great adjustment on defense down there on the other end. Moved his feet really, really quick. Had good body position. Did not lean, and he cut off what would have been an easy layup. And then down on the other end, he gets the bucket. Man, that's huge. James Taylor Studio, I don't agree with this. He says 19-1 and massively digressing. I don't agree with that at all. They are grinding. They're playing some grindy basketball, but you got to understand something. This is something that Auburn people don't know, me included. Like, they don't spend a lot of time at number one, guys. When you're number one, people are coming at you. LSU, look, dude, they suck this year. They're not terrible, but you know what I mean. Like, they're not playing for a conference title or anything. If they come in here and beat Auburn, that changes their season. That's the number one team. The fans are going to rush the court. This is a big-time situation there. LSU missed another free throw. I'm not mad about it. Let's see points for Turtle A. For Mr. I forgot what is the Spanish word for turtle? I forgot it right off the top of my head. I am looking up Turtle's numbers. Yes, 7 points on 3 of 3 shooting. So he's played 8 minutes in this game. He's got 7 points. He's basically Steph Curry. 1 rebound and 1 assist. So, yeah, he's basically Steph Curry. Let's see. Melee says, I love seeing the onion skin biatches come out in the chat. Tortuga. Thank you, Cassidy P. Tortuga. That's exactly right. Oh, my goodness. That was a nice putback by LSU right there. You got to give him credit for that. My gosh. Is that score right? Yep. 74-66. Janai going to work. Oh, Janai with the most Janai bucket. Oh, my God. That was like a double spin. Like a double fake and then a double spin. Jeez Louise. Beppo says Turtle is pretty good. There's no doubt. I like him. He can play for me. He's fullback. There's a rebound for Turtle. I'm telling you, this is Turtle's breakout game, y'all. Now they're fouling Janai. They won't even let him get the ball in the post now. They're going to foul him. Bobby Cran, what's up, bro? It says JB. Boy, that was an ambitious drive for number 5. It looked great. Didn't finish it, but he had a teammate come in. And oh, look at that move by Janai. These guys made a mistake. You don't let him go to his left. Janai on the defensive end kind of got caught ball watching on that one, but it happens sometimes. I don't know who Dudley DeBosier is, but that's a very LSU sounding name, right? I'll go see Dudley DeBosier. He lives down in Houma. Where? Home is where you make it. Actually, Homa's naked. What? It's a line from Joe Dirt. I said home is where you make it. Look at Coach Corey Williams down there giving him hell appropriately. Stephen Pearl standing up and barking instructions as he is to do. Feel like a stranger says Turtle playing well. You damn right he is. Playing great. 77-66 is the score now. .452 to go. We're still short of the media timeout. Oh, look at Janai. Oh, he's just having fun with those guys. That guy's got a bucket on his head. I respect it. I would do that. Is he trying to call him for 5 seconds? Is that what that dude's trying to bust his ass on? What a baby. Oh, come on, man. Beppo Lives loves Joe Dirt. You ain't nothing, Joe Dirt. He wants some Weinberger with those French fries. Desperado, reset your browser. Cassidy B says DeBosier is an ambulance chaser. Okay. Puts the lotion on the skin. Put the lotion in the basket. Oh, did UConn lose again? Amazing. Small Victory says Chaney's body language and face looked really bad, defeated. I think he's just frustrated. He's frustrated with the fouls. Because you could see him. He showed it really bad when he got called for those fouls in the first half. He just had this look of like fart. And then like early in the second half, like I think his second defensive possession, he got called for a foul and he had this look like he's just got to move his feet better. He needs to understand that like if he's getting these calls, he's reaching too much. He's leaning too much. Oh, I feel like a stranger saying that they were trying to tell Broom that he should have been called for 5 seconds, and he was like, "I'm not the one camping in the key. It's y'all dudes." And he was fussing. I don't know about interacting with fans. It's not like illegal or even immoral or anything, but it's just kind of silly. I don't know. If it's home fans, I don't mind it. I know Janai's not going to do anything stupid, but like I don't know. I feel like it's asking for trouble. Of course, Chad Bacon Lasagna does it all the time, so. And he don't really get in trouble, so it's fine. 77-68. Auburn playing better, I think, in the last 2-3 minutes, but not, I mean, they're still in pretty commanding position here, but not pulling away per se. Shoot it, Turtle. I'd like to see a 3 from Turtle. Let me rephrase that. I'd like to see another 3 from Turtle. Janai's looking for that alley-oop, man. Chad. A little dramatic there, Chad. Hey, he's going to get the free throws, but that was crazy, man. Stupid says, can we interfere with Cam Carter and get him in the portal next year with Asa Newell? Asa Newell, of course, the outstanding center at University of Georgia that Auburn is trying to pull. I think Asa Newell's got, I think his brother goes to Georgia, though. That's going to be a tougher pull. Yeah, Cam Carter's a badass playing for LSU right now. Shooting guard. Small Time Republic reminds us that Ron Artest interacted with fans. Yeah, it took the Pacers. I read a story yesterday. Was talking about how the Pacers have really, starting with last year, that the Pacers fans are finally back and going to games after that. Like it took that long. The skepticism after the incident there, it took that long for fans to get warmed back up. I don't know. I would have been over it after a week, but maybe some other people, maybe the olds, get upset about shit like that. I don't know. Small Victory says, CBM going to come at you like a spider monkey. Good defensive positioning by Semo right there. I think he ended up getting called for a foul, but I don't fault the positioning or the effort, honestly. Yeah, I think BP's incredulous. I didn't think it looked like much of a foul, but maybe I'm Bob Euchre up here in the high seats trying to call stuff down. I feel like a stranger says, will Asa Newell not be in the NBA next year? I don't know for sure. I haven't looked at the mock lately. I only looked at it one time, and I was looking for Janai, and he wasn't on it, so. You've got some people in the bunker that are like, oh, he's going to be this huge NBA star. I was like, we'll find out, I guess. Not ever going to be telling an Auburn player not, he's not going to make it or whatever, but I don't know. Guys like Janai don't usually make it in the NBA. Even though he's awesome in college. He's kind of like Drew Timme. He was an absolute stud at Gonzaga. In fact, on Ken Palm, I think he's the most... Or he's one of the players it's like he's most liked statistically in the likeness score or whatever it's called. All right, so we're going back to full game boxes here since we're so far along into the game. 29 of 75 for the Auburn Tigers. 75 shots, guys, and they've only given up 46. This is crazy. You may never see this again in an SEC game. This is insane. I mean, to have that many more shot attempts is insanity. Like, it's just like it's actually crazy. I can't believe this. 23 offensive rebounds, 43 boards overall versus 33 for the other team. 15 assists and 7 turnovers is huge because Auburn, they were either 0-4 or 0-5 to start this game, so they have picked that up big time. Whereas our president would say very bigly. 10 assists and 18 turnovers for them. They've actually stemmed their turnovers a little bit. I thought they were going to be way over 20 based on the way things are going in the first half, so they've kind of eased that back. 48% shooting for them overall, so you feel like normally if you're playing at home and you're shooting 48%, you're in a pretty good spot, but the turnovers have hurt them and the rebounding has hurt them. Cass DP's the first one to tell us that rebounding, big part of it. Small Time says, some of the fouls have been ticky-tack, but Simo left, no doubt. I would like his positioning on that. Don't fail the effort. Colby says 36% from the floor. 38, whatever. It's about the same. It's not good enough. 7 of 24 from 3. Not good enough. 7 assists for CBM. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Some of his other numbers are not very good, although he's managed to get double-digit points, but he took a lot of shots. It's a very Allen Iverson-looking shooting chart there. 3 of 12 for 11 points. Remember, AI used to get like 25 shots a game, finish with 23 points. You'd be like, God dang, bro. I guess that would have been later in his career. But anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about AI. Spicy P says UConn down by 8 to DePaul, who's just atrocious. Yowzers, that would be a huge loss if that happened. I feel like a stranger says Aza Newell projected lottery, top 12. Boom. I'm happy for that kid. So good news there. Again, I wasn't looking at him or whatever. All right, Chaney. He can redeem himself with a splash. Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like that and totally redeem yourself. All right, Auburn up 12 with 3 minutes to go. They were up 9 at Georgia with a minute to go, and we felt pretty good, and it barely got out of that one. So let's just see if they can keep it going here a little bit. Auburn's trapping the shit out of that guy. He got it out. That guy can't hit a 3. Told you. Big boy board from Janai right there. And Auburn's going to have to just take your time in the half court or the quarter court and get a good shot. Run this clock down and get out of the PMAC here with a dub. I did have Auburn winning by 13, I think. Some really, it's going to be off Miles. Some good tempo to the passing there, though. I like that. Tim says UConn missing the tourney would be hilarious. They are hilarious. You think they're in danger of that? I still think they're like okay. I think they'd be like a 6 seed right now, right? 7 seed, maybe. I can't say I watch them. I hate them too. I hate Bobby Hurley so much that I also hate his brother, even though he wasn't hateful. Seems like he is the all-time crier on fouls, though, isn't he? Like, he just never stops. Chaney with a little rebound there. Auburn's just going to be able to suffocate this one out now. They're up 12 with 2 minutes to go. Just got to play smart on this, hold the ball, pass with intensity. Use the shot clock. You got it. Miles got tripped on the drive. It is 82-70. Thank you, Desperado. I keep shorting LSU. I don't know if it's just me projecting or what. I will say that I'm not a math major. That's for damn sure. There he is. Poppy Clan says Hurley is a cock. Not a Hudson cock, but just another kind, I guess. Spicy Piece calling it for ball game. And usually you see that it's when Auburn's losing in football. But in this case, it's when Auburn's winning in basketball. You love to see it. Miles just missed a free throw because of that Spicy P. You just jinxed him. Let's see, Spicy P says Auburn has one additional quad 1 win over the entire ACC combined. How about that? Miles Kelly hits the back end of a double bonus, and Auburn's now got 83 points. Let's see. Feel like a stranger says UConn's an 8 seed right now. Their best player should be back soon from injury. Been out a few weeks, I think. I saw Stephon Castle in the NBA the other day. I don't remember who he plays for. Maybe the Heat. Anyway, I love that kid. He came to an Auburn camp, and I thought Auburn was going to be able to sneak him in. You know, like let him be like a number 75 player and get him here. And yeah, he ended up getting a little bit bigger. And I think he had a grandma lived in Hartford or something like that. Some kind of a family connection up there. And whatever. Blake R says, "Is Spicy P pushing P?" Interesting. I like that. Let's put a peacock on that avatar. Don Properdickin wants to know, is LSU quad 1? Somebody said that earlier in the chat. I'm not sure if that's true. Chaney Johnson, is he fouled out? Step, sit down. You don't suck. JP's on the end of the bench going, hey guys, what's up? Good job. Yes, Feel Like a Stranger says Castle is with the Spurs. If they're not with the Thunder, I don't pay attention. So my bad on that one. As you guys know, I like the Thunder. They're pretty damn good now. They're fixing to get Chet back, so they're going to be really good then. Oh, Beppo says Grandma in Hartford, great band name. That actually is a cool idea. Yeah, going up there to see my grandma in Hartford. She used to get she had season tickets to the Whalers back in the day, yeah. Who's that guy that played for the Whalers? Was it Pat Falloon? Like right when they were about to leave Hartford? I think it was Pat Falloon. I was playing like NHL 93. And they still had the Whalers back then, and he played like center. He like really slow. Because like when me and Courtney would play, I'd give her like the Kings, and then with like Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier and Marty McSorley. And I'd have to play with some goofy team, which was like Ottawa or the Panthers or the Whalers. You guys remember, people of a certain age. Cassidy P says, now it's down to free throws, Lego, fellas. Yeah, you like to see that dub. That's what you like to see. Cassidy P also says NHL 93 rocks. Really a damn good game, right? Played a bunch of those. We did a thing. My fraternity did a thing where we played video games for 24 hours straight, and we did it for Toys for Tots. We were raising money for Toys for Tots, and I played a lot of NHL 93 during that Nintendo-thon. Kappa Chapter, Pi Kappa Alpha, JG Tate reporting in. I don't think I made it 24 hours, though. I'm the kind of guy that, like, pusses out and says, I'm tired, I got to go to bed. But I definitely played through the night. I got to go to bed, man. Kevin F. remembers that game was the chit. It really was, man. I wasn't even, like, a big NHL fan, but it was just a great game. Kind of became an NHL fan doing that. Don't really pay attention to it anymore, though. I got a League Pass, NBA League Pass, and so we just watched the Thunder games. With Michael Cage as the analyst. Remember him when he was playing for the Sonics back in the day. Big rebounding guy. Oh, a little Miles Simon teardrop floater missed for Denver, but Janai was there for the stick back. And now we're under 45 seconds. I feel pretty good about Auburn winning this game. I think AWS has Auburn 99% right here. Janai with a big defensive rebound. I think that's going to wrap it up there. Auburn's going to have to take a shot or do something here. But this is a nice win, dude. I mean, 13-point margin, which is about what I called. Some frustration, some points of frustration in this game, particularly about midway through the second half where I thought Auburn got a little mentally. Oh, was that Tahad? Nice little finish there. 87. Oh, LSU gets a little flush with 8 seconds to go. And Auburn's just going to dribble this one out. All right, so all in all, I mean, if you're in the world of ones and zeros, that's a W, and you take it. But I think there's things where, and Cassidy P notes, Vegas had it as Auburn 12.5. Look at Janai dancing. Oh, he gets right in there with the cheerleaders. Oh, he's going to do the Macarena. No, he's not. Now he's doing the Milton Berle. I'll say this, man. VP's got this team, like, loose. Like, yeah, I don't have to worry about them being super tight, this team. This team is... They have fun together. They have a good time. If they dick around in practice, he will absolutely tear their ass up. But in general, he just kind of chills and he has so many older players on this team. You know, he can kind of let them do it their thing. All right, let's get some hot fresh stats. It'll be our last, hot fresh stats of the game. Presented by who's presenting it? Beppo, I forgot. Oh, it's Kmart tonight. Yeah, it's Kmart. Our Blue Plate special is the buy one, get one free in the Ginsu knives. And again, if you act now and you get it from Kmart.com, you will get a leather pouch to go with your Ginsu. It's a hell of a deal. Hell of a deal. And it's one that I know MC Tigger would absolutely take advantage of if he didn't already have the Ginsu family collection where he has 6, including a steak knife and a fillet knife. It's pretty big. Let me get over there to MC Tigger. He just super chatted me, and I want to make sure he gets some love for that. Here are the final stats. I know Beppo's been waiting with bated breath for these bad boys. There he is. MC Tigger just says, thanks, Jay. That's all we need. Appreciate you, MC Tigger, for being part of the show, being part of course, the community. Definitely one of our legends on the bunker who's been there way longer than I have. And a rational, generally friendly poster. And when he's unfriendly, you can probably understand. I feel like people, when we're doing shout-outs for the I said bourbon blend, for the rundown, everybody gets his name wrong because he's got capitalization and then like lowercase, uppercase, lowercase, and people call him MC Tiger, but he's MC Tigger. All right, let's think about this. What stands out about this game? Auburn, things got a little dicey there. I think it was 55-50 with about 8 minutes to go, maybe 9 minutes to go, something like that. Maybe it was 11 minutes to go. I don't remember. But there was a point there where it started getting a little tight, and we were thinking, here we go. It's going to end up, I actually said at the time, midway through the half, that this is going to be a lot like the Texas game. You got up 12-14, got down to 5. Here we go. But then, I mean, Auburn just kind of put their foot down. I thought Janai balled out the last 6 minutes of this game. Finishes with 26 points on 10 of 23 shooting, 16 boards. No assists for him, which is unusual, but 2 turnovers, again, not usual for him. 3 blocks is pretty usual for him, but 26 points in 33 minutes, that ain't bad at all for a guy who, you know, he's still not 100% on that ankle. Beppo Live says McBeppo appreciates. Let's see. Schaefer Kia says Mark Sears' mom is happy for now. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, right? They're like a couple losses away from shit getting really bad over there. Still a pretty good team, though. Actually, they're a real good team. I shouldn't say that. So, good thing about Auburn was they put their foot down there, led by, I mean, honestly, it's pretty much Janai there in the second half. That little rally they had with about 7 minutes to go, and they kind of just finished the game really nicely, I think. 13-point win in a game that Casa DP noted Vegas had this at 12.5. So, right what about Vegas was expecting. And I just didn't think LSU matched up great with Auburn. LSU, 74 points for them is probably, they're feeling pretty good about that. They shot the ball well, 47% from the floor. Auburn was 40, but look at the disparity in the shots, guys. 29, plus 29 for the Auburn Tigers in shooting tonight. I mean, it's insane. I'd be willing to give every single one of you guys a $5 bill if we see a plus 29 or higher shot disparity the rest of this year. That is insanity. That's just crazy. Spicy Pieces, how do you rate that performance? So, road win in the SEC for me, even if it's South Carolina, I got to give it a B at the worst. And I mean, there was probably a time where I was thinking maybe lower than that, but they actually finished pretty strong. And Janai, I thought, got his swerve back. I mean, first half he wasn't very good. Second half he was pretty good. I thought he played really, really well, and he was like the big, he's Milton Berle, man. He's doing his thing. So, got a great performance from Turtle today. I mean, I know 7 points. You're like, a great performance. Yeah, I mean, it's Turtle. He usually gets like 2 minutes. I thought DeHaan had a really good first half, not quite as good in the second half. Chaney, I'd probably give it a straight B, maybe a B+. I mean, you win by double digits in the league, man. I mean, that's tough. So, yeah, B+ is what I'm thinking, Spicy P. I think sometimes people don't realize that it's tough to go into these other arenas and as the number one team in the country and fight your way through it because they're fired up, man. I mean, what's LSU got to play for right now, right? They want to take down the number one team in the country, and these fans would have stormed the court, and it would have been a big freaking deal, and it would have been the biggest memory that they would have had all year when they had their senior banquet in April. They would have showed highlights of that game, and it would have been the defining moment of their whole season, or could have been. But Auburn stepped up and got it done. Ravin says, when are we going to get A.D. Scott in the game? Let's get a laugh for that one. Well, hold on. Let me rephrase it. I'm going to rescind that laugh. I'm going to give you an applause for that one. Because we're not laughing at A.D., we're laughing at just the idea that maybe this team needs more AD on the floor, right? Great teammate, great practice player, plays his ass off, does everything he's asked of, everything that they ask of him. But, guys, I mean, he just no. A horse from 3, my man. What's up, G? Glad to have you here at the tail end of the show. This is Wardam Commodore Janai proving his dominance again. Glad this one's over. LSU plays like they're on a meth bender. Wow. Okay, I wasn't really thinking about it that way, but they do want to. I mean, they can't win games, I should say, playing half-court basketball. They're just not going to score enough points. They don't have those kinds of players. So they've got to make it frenetic, and they got to try to get out in transition. The problem is that when you do that against Auburn's really good in transition too. And when they want to be, their transition defense is insane. So Auburn did a nice job, I thought, in the last 10 minutes of the game, tracking well in transition defensively and kind of undermining them and kind of messing them up there. Points in the paint, I'm not surprised at all. Auburn plus 12. Thought that would have been a little bit bigger. T-Park says blue light special, my guy. I need a little Ginsu action, my guy. Also, the Fukuoka 9000. That would be a big one. You tend to see women buying that more, but maybe Valentine's Day could be a good pickup in the blue light aisle. 22 points off turnovers for the Auburn Tigers. That's a plus 10 advantage. Thought that would be a little bit more. 20 turnovers created by the Auburn Tigers. They only get 22 points off it, but that was better. What was it at halftime? It was like 11 turnovers created in 1 point or 2 points or something like that. So they did better, I guess. Second chance points, Auburn's plus 6. Auburn's -2 in fast break, but if you can keep it even with them the way they were playing tonight, I think you obviously you're going to get the W. Bench points, I don't really give a shit. And points per possession, Auburn is 1.225, which is just a shade below their normal. They're usually 1.3-ish. And they like to give up about 1.1 or 1.0. So they're doing all right there. No problem there. But Spicy P agrees with the... Thought I heard something. Spicy P agrees with the B+ is understandable. A win is a win. Hope we find our 3 ball again soon. That would be nice. 8 of 25 isn't awful. And by the way, 5 of 13 in the second half is definitely an improvement over what they did in the first half, but you'd like to see those 40% halves come together at least at some point, right? Eric G, my man, what's up? That's my photo friend right there. Says we need a Bama loss airy night. That goes for basketball, football, equestrian, badminton, checkers, tennis, well, women's tennis, golf, whatever. Spicy Pieces, has Auburn ever won at Rupp? Yes, they have. I'm going to guess not, but I'm not an old. Yes, they won at Auburn. They won at Rupp Arena. I looked this up. They won last in 1988 in Eddie Sutton's final season, I believe, as at the helm of the UK Wildcats. And Auburn won that game as a huge underdog and hit a bucket late that won that game. So Auburn has won, but I have never seen it. Because I didn't give a shit about Kentucky back then. I was a Louisville fan. I grew up in a Louisville household, so I didn't pay any attention. Don't know anything about it. Probably ought to write a story about that game, actually. Probably be worthwhile. Kind of going through this box score again. Let's just give out some quick grades for these. Denver Jones, for me, probably a C-. Didn't like what he did tonight very much. 4 steals is great. 26 minutes, mostly on the ball. 1 turnover, that's great. But 9 points on 3 of 9 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3. I'd give him a C+. Janai, I'm going to give him an A. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about Janai. Weak first half, but I thought he was fighting. Second half, he was fighting, and he was playing much better. So I'd give him an A. I thought he was terrific tonight. Chad, better in the first half, not very good in the second half. Still gave a lot of energy. 7 assists, 2 turnovers, not bad. 2 rebounds for a wing is bad. 3 of 12 shooting, not so good. 4 of 6 on the line is terrible for him. So I give him a C+. Miles Kelly, I thought, was a difference maker in the first 5 minutes of the game. Not as much after that. 13 points isn't bad. Give him a B-. Dylan Cardwell, incomplete. I just didn't feel like 19 minutes, and I'm shocked. I didn't feel like he was out there that long. Although we did have 6 boards. We'll give him a C. Tahad, I thought, was a B-. B+ in the first half, C+ in the second half. I'll give him a B-. He was a real auger, I thought, in the first half. Not so much after that. But still fine. JP only had 1 shift. It was in the first half. I think we were all shocked to see him playing in the first half. So incomplete on that. Simo had 10 minutes, but I didn't really realize he was in there that long. 5 boards in 10 minutes, though, isn't bad. So let's give him a C. Turtle, for me, was probably a B or a B+. 7 points in 9 minutes on the floor, which is terrific. 2 boards, including an important defensive rebound there with about 2 minutes to go that was, I thought, pretty pivotal, somewhat pivotal. Assist and no turnovers. I'm going to give him a B+. I thought he was terrific for him, for his role. And then Shaney, guys, not very good. I'll probably give him a D. 7 points on 2 of 7 shooting. He fouled out in 17 minutes. 2 steals is good. It wasn't like just trash, but, Cheney, man, like, come on, dude. He's like a potential, 6th man of the year in the country, and he didn't help very much tonight. I thought Turtle was really the best 6th man. Well, Tahad and then Turtle. So those are our grades for tonight. I give the overall grade probably a B+, just because it's tough to win on the road. There it is. Melee, 6 seconds remaining. This is the 1988 game in Rupp Arena. Johnny Kaler hit a 3 to beat UK, so that's a big one. And I wonder if that was the game that really would have sealed Eddie Sutton's fate. I don't remember. I mean, I wasn't paying attention at the time. Goose Flat, what's up, bro? Who's with us a bunch when we're doing the football shows. JGT, what's your thoughts on the schedule going forward? Actually, great question. Let me go ahead and get a look at the schedule worked up here real quick, and I will go through this with you. And we'll talk about the challenges ahead and all that. By the way, Auburn has slid somehow in the Ken Palm rankings to number 2. They've got Houston incrementally ahead of Auburn, a team that Auburn has defeated, as you probably know. Let me rephrase that, as you absolutely know, because you loved it and you cheered it when it happened. And you're also wondering why they got in a fight on the plane. All right, I've got the SEC schedule ready to go, so we're going to go ahead and move that over. This is a really tough finish. Now, there's a little bit of a spot here. Blake says, I am an A+ host. My man, thank you for that. I don't agree with that. I was not in a good mental frame of mind coming into the show at all tonight, so it took me a little while to get warmed up. The stretch, okay, so you got to go to Ole Miss. And those of you who have been, watching Auburn the last 5 years, you know that Auburn has trouble over there. Now, Auburn won the last game over there, but Auburn has had some nasty losses at Ole Miss in the last 10 years. So a lot of that was Kermit when he was the coach over there. Now you got Chris Beard, and you got Wes over there. And they're pretty good. So Ken Palm's got him winning by 5. The Auburn Tigers, that's a tough one, man. To me, that's a toss-up. As Doc Dumps would say, that's winnable, losable. Go ahead and pop my collar here. And then Oklahoma game, you feel pretty good. Oklahoma's just okay. They're not great. But then you got the Florida game. Saturday, Florida is good. Former Auburn assistant Todd Golden is the head coach there. Newly found to be not what he was accused of in a Title IX complaint. So he's probably happy about that. Vanderbilt away. Vanderbilt's not scary necessarily, but they've had some big wins at home. They beat Kentucky at home. They beat Tennessee at home. They're a problem inside that gym. Alabama away, guys, I don't like the looks of that very much. Arkansas at home, you think that's going to be a W, man. Also Calipari I'm not going to. Exonerated. Thank you, Casa DP. That is exactly the word I was looking for there. I don't know why I skipped around that one. Georgia at home, you think Auburn could probably pull that one off. Ole Miss at home, you feel pretty good about that one. And then you got this finish at Kentucky, which, as we mentioned, I was in high school the last time that Auburn won in Rupp. I've never seen an Auburn win there. Myself, I've been covering Auburn since '98, and I missed it by a while, didn't I? And then Texas A&M away, which is going to be tough. I know Texas A&M is not awesome, but that's going to be a tough one too. And they're good. And then Alabama at home, which I hope is to win the SEC. That would be amazing. To be able to beat Alabama at home, to capture another regular season title would be pretty sweet. Stoop Up says, so Ken Palm has us going 18-0. Yeah, if you look at that in the win-loss, but then over there on the projected record, they say 16-2. He mentions that the models are a little wonky sometimes, you know. Let's see. Feel Like a Stranger says he'll be in the Pavilion Saturday. First time I've gone. That's a great gym to go see a game, actually. I really like it there. It's really nicely done. I like the way that the Neville Arena turned out, actually, too. But Auburn and Ole Miss, two teams that traditionally haven't had a lot of basketball success, but put their foot down and said, we're going to build a stadium, arena, And Neville's really nice. And then the Pavilion, which they opened a few years after Neville Arena, is a great place to watch a basketball game. They've done a great job. And I think Chris Beard is a possible domestic violence issues aside is a pretty easy guy to cheer for. So he seems like a pretty cool guy. And, of course, Wes Flanagan's over there, the great Auburn Tiger, who's the father of Al. Frank says camera angle is too high at the Pavilion. It is definitely high. Reminds me of like an Ohio State football game or a Vanderbilt game. If you're a press person like myself, I mean, I do the shows with you guys now, but back in the days when I was a newspaper reporter, you have to sit way up in the crow's nest when you go to Vanderbilt. And you're watching like straight down at the court. That's kind of cool. I love the Vandy Stadium. I want to say stadium. Gym. Memorial Gym. It's really cool. It just reminds me of an opera house because it used to be an opera house. Let's see what else we got going on over here. Feel Like a Stranger says A&M's play style is weird. They're so physical, right? They're so physical, and they just bother you. They're just high work rate guys. So Tigre is back after having spoken at church. We're very glad to have you, bro. We carried him through. He says, looks like a great win with the cover. Yes. It's 12.5-point line in Vegas, and they win by 13. That's great. Got to get home and watch the replay. Oh, he's not even home. He's on the phone. Okay. Rob says, can we lose to Florida and keep our number one status? I don't think so because Ken Palm's always looking for a way to drop Auburn, it seems like. And you're probably talking in the voting, which I just don't care about. But they would probably find a way to drop Auburn out from number one, which I don't care about at all. I like that. Feel Like a Stranger says, domestic violence aside. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, it was a fine play. Yeah, I wasn't giving it an excuse. I just don't know the specifics about what was going on there. I think he probably was a little rough, though. Horace is thinking 18-0. I'm thinking they're going to go 15-3. To me, I think they got a 50-50 shot at losing this game or winning this game, depending on how you look at it, at Ole Miss. I don't like it when Auburn plays over there. Ole Miss always plays great against Auburn in the Pavilion. And it's been like that since Jared was here, and it's always a dogfight over there. And it's always a dogfight on the road. Yeah, Desperado, they dropped on Ken Palm. They dropped Auburn to number 2 and put Houston above them. I mean, let's be real about it. Houston's a damn good team. Auburn's a damn good team. Duke's a damn good team. I mean, we're splitting hairs at this point. Cassidy P, me and him are thinking exactly on the same wavelength here. 15-3 wins the regular season outright. 14-4 probably ties it. I think the same thing. And I think there's people on this very chat right now that look at the schedule and say, oh, my God, of course they're going to go undefeated. But I'm telling you guys, this home and away shit is a different deal. You're playing Alabama away. Auburn, he's given Auburn a 60% chance to win that game. I'm giving Auburn like a 35% chance to win that game. And Rupp Arena is insane. Like, I know Kentucky's not awesome or anything, but geez Louise, guys, 1988. And it's not like, Auburn's hasn't won in 1988 at USC or Washington or something. This is a place where Auburn plays a lot, probably damn near every year. And they just keep losing. And it's not like Kentucky's dog water. Kentucky is a little bit schizophrenic. They oscillate between pretty good, average, and then really good. I like that Cassidy P is denigrating Ken Pomeroy. I call him Ken for. He wouldn't know what hit him after we take the regular season crown. Solo Tigre says, good thing we're going 16-2 at worst. I like that. I like the positive vibes on that. That 16-2 in this league, then I would have to say that's BP's best coaching job ever. I mean, he's got a team too, but I mean, just the level of competition right now is brutal. This is so far and away the best league in the country, which is crazy in basketball, right? This is not the way it used to be. Desperado says, I'm out. I can't even sing the song, but I appreciate you being here, G. Thank you for coming by. T-Park notes that Trevon Reed, Auburn Tiger for life, recently got the job at USC coaching or defensive backs, I should say, which is huge. So, yeah, fired up for T. Reed. And he's making quick progress. I mean, he's high energy. He's a good coach. He's a good recruiter. I mean, there's really not a downside to him. So, fired up for him. And also, former Tiger Zacchaeus Etheridge is moving up from Houston to Miami. He's going to be with the Hurricanes, which is that's a really nice job there. Cassidy P says, who needs to break out of their funk most to keep us afloat? It's hard to say afloat at undefeated in the league play, but I know what you mean. What I would like to see is that JPP could be point guard 2, and then Denver could be shooting guard 1. That would be awesome. And I just want to see him take more jump shots and just kind of in rhythm 3-pointers because he's good at that. But I guess we would say Kelly. I think Kelly's got there's a lot more things he can bring. And it's not because he sucks or he's being a baby or anything like that. It's not that. He just needs to get in the flow a little bit more. And I think they need to accentuate him a little bit more. I think he's got more to give. And I think he can be more. I think he's a deadly 3-point shooter. It seems like right now all he's really doing is kind of spotting up threes. And that's fine because he's a 40% shooter from 3, and ain't nobody's going to be fussing about that. But I think he can do more. I think he can drive and finish at the rim. I think he's got some really great athleticism, and he's got a competitive streak to him. And I just think there's more there. So I'd like to see that. Soup says if JPP is going to be PG2, he's got to happen pretty soon. I agree. I'd keep waiting for it. Tonight was not the night. I mean, he just had kind of a bland shift, and that was a wrap. Cassidy P makes a good point. Kelly strikes me as the type of guard we've missed since Samir for the tourney play. I think you're right. Both of those guys are just doers, man. I don't know how else to put it. Like Samir just was a fearless dude who just fucking went out and did stuff, got stuff done. And Miles doesn't have the same personality that Samir did. Samir is takes CBM and drop down the enthusiasm about 20% and then add the confidence up a little bit, like the quiet confidence, right? Miles is much more of a quiet confidence. I feel like a stranger thinks Miles is SG1, and he kind of is. I love Denver as just a rhythm shooter, though. I love him. Stoop Up, that's actually a good point. He says, Kelly doesn't finish in traffic well for a guy his size, right? He does a great job of getting into positions to finish at the rim, and then he kind of doesn't finish at the rim, right? You want to see his finishing percentage be higher, I guess, if that's a stat. But he has such incredible body control. He's very quick, first step, second step, and he gets to great positions, and then he just doesn't quite get there. You know what I mean? Doesn't quite finish, and that's the difference. It's that last 5%. That's what Courtney tells me. It's the last 5% that makes all the difference. It's all about effort, guys. That's what it really comes down to. I think Auburn's going to end up losing 3 games in league play. I think they're going to lose to Ole Miss this weekend. I think they're going to lose at Kentucky. And I think they're going to lose at Alabama. And I think they're going to win the SEC outright with a win against Alabama at home in Neville Arena on Saturday, March 8th. And when they lose to Ole Miss this weekend, if they were to do that, everybody would freak out and say, oh, my God, oh, my God, oh, my God. And all it is life. Chip says, does anyone finish at the rim? Hell yeah. Tahad finishes at the rim. Janai finishes at the rim. I would actually argue that Dylan finishes at the rim. He doesn't get a lot of opportunities. Cass DP says, Samir did too, but they both found their way to the line, which matters in March. Hell yeah. Samir was so good. Samir is such an interesting player. Not sure I've met a more interesting player from a basketball perspective at Auburn. I should say I covered. Just grew up playing on playgrounds in Philadelphia, and his game looked like it. He was such an unsound player, and yet a damn good player. Like wrong-footed shit all the time, and had a weird kind of stroke, but it was pretty. Like when he released it, confident all the time, could dribble, could shoot, could pass. Great teammate, lots of energy, decent defender, had some length on him. Kind of a problem defensively. He could get his hands on balls. Did a lot of good things for you. I wish that 2020 tournament run could have happened, I guess. I know everybody got stunted there, but I really wanted to see how that team could have done. Because Samir was in rhythm, man. They were doing stuff. Chip, we have not discussed the final numbers in the layups. That's a great question. We were talking about how disastrous that number was early on. This is unbelievable. 14 of 33 on layups. Holy shit. 14 of 33, and they were 6 of 17. So their percentage was bad too, but 14 of 33, that means Auburn missed 19 layups tonight. They scored 87 points, and they missed 19 layups. Good God almighty, man. You hit half of those, and you go to 110 points. My God. 19 misses at the bucket, the rim. Stoop Up thinks that 2020 team was going to go to the Final Four. 14 of 33, Casa DP, I'm telling you, bro. I thought that the Georgia game was the worst ever, and this is actually worse. Melee says Trump could make them replay the 2020 tournament. Easy, buddy. Easy. We don't do political stuff here, okay? Even if we think it's funny. We could have made great deals. We could have played it in China. We definitely need Dagan McDowell to cover that, though. By the way, if we did the Trump tourney where we reseeded the 2020 tournament, maybe we could do like a show with Dagan McDowell and Kaylee McEnany. I would be fine with that. And by the way, Dagan, if you're watching, you always got a spot right here if you want to come hang out with me, because that's an open invitation. I don't care how you're feeling. I don't care how I'm feeling. Montgomery, Alabama. Well, actually, Hampstead, Alabama. Come here and hang out with me. Okra says, what's up, JG? Just got in from church, my man. Missed the game, but I made the drain. War Eagle, let's give him an applause for that. Solo Tigre also made church tonight. I'm sure some other folks did as well. Appreciate y'all doing that. Looking out. I didn't make it to church tonight. Of course, this is kind of a religious experience for me. Not really. I'm not trying to be blasphemous with it. Just saying I do love basketball. And I do love covering the number one team in the country. It sure is nice. Sure is lovely. Wizard D says Auburn played only 9 tonight due to someone being a bad boy last week. That's one of the things about Auburn. We talk about, remember people used to fuss in the bunker that BP played too many people. And now I don't necessarily know that we hear that complaint as much. He's definitely whittled the rotations down. Now, I realize that Kai didn't play tonight, but even if Kai plays, he only gets like 2 shifts a night. So what realistically happened is maybe Miles got a few extra minutes and Turtle got a few extra minutes, even though he and Kai don't play the same position, but they can shift Simo up. And, yeah, I think they're fine without Kai right now. Let's see. Damon says Joe Lenardi has Georgia as a 10 seed right now. Georgia Bulldogs, huh? And Stoop Up says Bruce Pearl is my second favorite Jew. My man. He's not a carpenter, but he is a fine Jew. Terrence says Ole Miss is losing right now. Who they got, bro? I was so focused on this game tonight that I didn't pay attention to what was going on in the league outside of this game. I get a little myopic when it comes to Auburn. By the way, Oklahoma City and Golden State are going to play tonight. We think Chet's going to play, guys. We think Chet's going to play. So if you guys are getting fired up for that, I would certainly encourage that. Looks like DePaul is still leading at UConn with 11 minutes to go. That would be an all-time laugher right there. DePaul. Who was the guy that was so good there? I mean, I know it was Joey was the coach, Joey Meyer, but he had a really good player there. In like 87, 88, like he went on to play in the NBA and stuff. Fuck, I forget. These names get away from me now. I'm getting so old. All right, so Alabama's up 2 on Mississippi State midway through the first half, and then Texas is up 9 at Ole Miss. That's kind of a revenge game, isn't it? Because Chris Beard was at Texas, right? And then got sent home because he's being a bad boy. Yeah, it happens sometimes. Cassidy P. Come on, you know who it is. Who was the great coach? Rod Strickland. Was it Rod Strickland? I think it was Rod Strickland that played at DePaul back in the late 80s. Mark Aguirre. That was a little before me, but yeah, he played there too, didn't he? When I was going to high school in Oklahoma, we got WGN was one of those rare things. Oh, also my parents didn't have cable, so somehow we were getting WGN. And so you could watch like Notre Dame basketball, which was Digger Phelps, and then DePaul, which was Joey Meyer, and they had, I think it was Rod Strickland. I think when Mark Aguirre was a little earlier in the 80s, because at that time, Mark Aguirre was playing for the Pistons. No, he's playing for the Dallas Mavericks. My bad. Let's see. T Park is with me on Kelly. We were talking earlier. I think Cassidy P asked which one of these players, CBM, Miles, and I guess it was Denver. Yeah, which one of those three really needs to take a step up to kind of make Auburn, kind of solidify Auburn's excellence, I guess you could say. And I went ahead and picked Miles. T Park's with me. He said, dude hasn't fully reached his potential to date. Yeah, I tend to agree. And I don't think it's his fault. I think there's just, this is an ensemble. Well, let me rephrase that. You've got Janai as the star player, and then you've got he's the Meryl Streep, and then you've got an ensemble cast kind of below him, right? You got a lot of really good players that just kind of mixing and matching. Some nights it's Chaney, some nights it's Miles, some nights it's Denver, some nights it's Chad Baker Lasagna. Every now and then you get a great one from Dylan. Every now and then you get a great one from Turtle. He didn't get double digits, but you know what I mean. And I think that Miles can be more than that. They asked him to do a lot more than that at Georgia Tech, and he was mostly up to the task, honestly. But, I think there's more he can do. And I think if he finishes at the rim a little bit better and finishes the rim with a little more confidence, I think he could be, when you get to those March Madness games where you've got to get to the hole, right? He can be that guy because he's a good free throw shooter. He can definitely beat people off the dribble, and just got to get into a rhythm of just get to the hole, finish at the hole, and hit your free throws. I think they could come up big when March Madness comes around. I feel like a stranger says Bruce may not be a carpenter, but the work his teams do give me wood. Glad for the win. Will have to be better Saturday, my man. Appreciate you, Feel Like a Stranger. Had a super chat at the top of the show, and you're also going to have one here at the end of the show. Also gave me some great suggestions for content ideas off the board. Well, off the show, I should say, and it's always appreciated. And the way you frame it is always super, super easy to take it. Blake R. says we're going to give Old Piss a golden shower Saturday.
Drop.
Also, sometimes when you get a golden shower, you're in a lot of pain.
He's on fire!
Heads up, depends on where you are on that crazy hot matrix. Terrence gives us some bad news to say that UConn is now winning their game against the hated DePaul Blue Demons. Chip says, I hope LeBaron Philon gets peen rash every day for the rest of his life.
He's on fire!
He went to my high school, the Baker Hornets, I believe, committed to Auburn and ended up at Bama when Auburn needed his position. Well, that's his fault. If he wants to be at Alabama while Auburn is number 1 and undefeated in the league, that's his problem. Cassidy Pieces content ideas, huh? How about a Courtney's Corner during halftime? In fact, to that end, Maddie, we kind of had a powwow as a family, and we said that Maddie's, she's about to graduate. So we said, hey, this is like your last holiday home. So once you go back to school, we're probably going to commandeer your bedroom. And she was like, it's okay if you do that. I was like, sweet. So now we have technically a space to do the bourbon blend. So we're in the process of repurposing Maddie's bedroom into the bourbon blend studio, and I got a new lens on the camera. don't think I have it here with me, but got a new lens because we don't have enough space to have the same focal length, so it's going to be a little bit of a different view. But yeah, we're working on it. And all 12 of you guys who watch our bourbon show are like, wow, that sounds great. I still owe Cassidy P and Mrs. Cassidy P a bottle of Eagle Rare, which they won fair and square in a drawing that we had on the show. We still got it downstairs. Blake says, "A misses Courtney's Corner, Blake. Courtney's Corner misses you, bro, because I know you were enthusiastic about the great queries that Courtney would bring along as part of Courtney's Corner. Favorite board games, favorite Olympic sports, other items of scintillating interest." Cassidy P says, "Woohoo for the return of the blend. Sorry, Maddie, about in your room." Get over it. Eric G says, "Looking forward to the next bourbon blend." I didn't know Eric G was a fan. There we go. Fired up to have him as part of the show. He's part of the Dirty Dozen. And Raven says, "I miss seeing the heavy pours that Courtney hands out." Courtney always be like, "Here you go, a little bit more." And it's like, Courtney, I'm trying to run the show here. Goddamn. What are we doing? But, yeah, I anticipate that we would probably be able to get that going. I don't know. In February. We've got all the equipment. I just got to get it. We're just having to redo the whole space because it was perfect at my mom's house. It was on the landing up there. It was great. Cassidy P says, "I give the LSU game 3 1/4 briquettes." Now that's some bourbon blend humor right there. I love that. Charcoal briquettes. I think that lady might have died recently. Sue Johansson. Raven says, "Content idea, rank your favorite cookware." Courtney would be like, "Calphalon, of course." Oh, well. All right, guys, I'm going to probably wrap it up there. Maybe she has a favorite saucepan. I know she has a favorite gravy boat. It was the one that she commandeered from her brother, who actually filed suit against her over the gravy boat. That's a true story. I couldn't be more true if I told you the truth. Anyway, maybe we'll have the gravy boat on the show one time. We'll tell a story. It'll be story time for Courtney. Time she got sued for a gravy boat. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. We will see you guys live on this channel Saturday for the game at Ole Miss. I don't know the time on that one, but I'm about to find out. I will find out at the same time you do. Let's see. 1 o'clock. I guess that's Central. So at Ole Miss, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. It's going to be a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Central Alabama. I know that. These temperatures have been amazing. 65 and mostly sunny on Saturday. And we're going to be in the high 60s or 70s all the way through next week. Holy cow. This is great, guys. I'm so fired up. Frank says, "Thanks, Jay." No, thank you, Frank, for being here with us. Pretty much wire to wire, if not fully wire to wire. Thanks for being part of that. Our chat is the best in the country. Such a smart group and such a playful group, and I love it. Nobody cusses. Nobody calls anybody names. It's wonderful. I love it. Blake says, "Can't wait for the breadstick pics." Courtney, of course. Kanuman famously puts it in his avatar with the Santa hats on the breadsticks, which is amazing. Raven says, "Can we watch the game on your front lawn?" I got some bad news, Raven. If you're trying to watch a game on my front lawn, it is a very small front lawn, and even calling it a lawn is probably a stretch. I don't have a lot of space. I live in one of these neighborhoods. It's like planned, and the houses are really close together, just the way it was when I grew up in San Diego before high school. Feel Like a Stranger says, "Sued for a gravy boat?" Hell yeah, we're going to get into that. It happened for sure. Chip says, "Snowed 8 inches last week, wearing shorts this week. Welcome to Alabama." Did not ever expect to see 8 inches of snow in Mobile. That's for damn sure. But it can be a little hectic weather-wise. I think we've only got one cold snap left, guys, because we're at the end of January right now. And once you get into March in Alabama, you're probably not going to get a cold one. So if Mother Nature is going to slap us with another 35-degree week, she better bring it soon, because I'm running out of time. Stu Pup says the first strain he's ever going to miss is Saturday. His kid is at the state 4-H competition. Wow, that's definitely a good reason to miss it. Good luck to young Stu Pup Jr. That should be a great time. Raven says, "Felt great outside." Raven sadly was not driving in a Tesla when he enjoyed that weather today. I was. Just my little Model 3, though. It's just a little thing that I put around in. Raven got to sit in it for, I think, 35 feet. Yeah. I met Raven at a popular eatery in his town. I will not say where the eatery is or what town it's in, but had a chance to hang out with him last week. Always a good time. I think he's the only person I know that lives in that particular town, so there was nobody else for me to huddle with. I mean, what I meant to say is we would have invited other people. We weren't trying to be exclusionary. However, Ravin is the, at least from my perspective, he's the mayor of the town, so it's a pleasure. Stu Pup says, thank you all. My son is giving a speech. He's pumped. That's going to be exciting, dude. God, I'm as old as I am and as many times as I've talked to groups as I have, I still get nervous when I have to do that. Says a guy who just live streamed for almost 3 hours. It's different, though. I don't see you guys. I know a lot of you guys, so I can kind of see you in my mind, but I don't actually see you. And Chip says YouTube has an app, Stu Pup. Hey, man, seriously, though, if my daughter was in a 4-H competition giving a speech, I would be focused on the speech, for sure. Blake says, the weather pattern this winter has been eerily similar to years past when we get a big March snowstorm where I live. Well, the thing is, we won't ever get a snowstorm when you get a snowstorm, but if you're getting a snowstorm, we're going to get something. We're going to get either unpredictable thunderstorms, or we're going to get wind, or we're going to get breezy cold or something. So I'm glad you let me know that. That'd be the perfect weather to be drinking a Sam Adams Cold Snap, guys. This show is presented by Sam Adams, the Great Boston Lager, and America's oldest brewery. Wrap your lips around a delicious Sam Adams. Take it back in time to the days when brewers made that magical mash that changed your life. Sam Adams, we love them. Mike says, I saw where James Wood's neighbor's Tesla completely melted during the Cali fires. Yeah, it was a Cybertruck. It was very sad. I wish I had one. I'm going to have to do about 55,000 more streams before I can afford a Cybertruck. I need to get that YouTube check. The views don't pop up, though. Anyway, Chip says, Golden Corral was lit. JGT and Ravin Dick Heat combined. Yeah, it was basically like Golden Corral, except it wasn't Golden Corral, but I know what you mean. Ravin says, if Stu Pup says to himself during the speech, I feel like I've heard this before, then you know he's been drinking. No, Stu Pup's not a drinker anyway, but you know how it is. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. I will see you Saturday afternoon on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, by the way. If you guys are out doing whatever, hanging out with your beautiful wives or girlfriends, I would completely understand. I would be doing the same thing if it wasn't just a regular Saturday. But I'm going to be here on the streaming that game. #1 Auburn Tigers, potentially beating that Ole Miss ass. We will not have Neil McCready on the phone. Neil has disavowed me as a friend, as you guys know. Maybe we'll talk about some therapy ideas about how I can get over that friendship again, maybe as we talk about the game. But anyway, guys, wrap it up. Another Wednesday night, another successful Wednesday night. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks to our super chatters, to our shatters, to our pillars of the community, and, of course, to our special members tonight, including Kanuman, who signed in from the PMAC, and Feel Like a Stranger, who was our top super chatter tonight, and just generally a great member of the community. Anyway, guys, I'll wrap it up there. Peace and love. See you guys Saturday. But if it's on the bunker, we'll probably do it before then. Peace. Guys, we can stop it now. Like, seriously.